He's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NBA's second half of the season starts tonight. One game in Los Angeles, Lakers Hornets, LA's fifth in the West, and to compete against big men like Nikola Jokic, LeBron James, and Luka Doncic have to do something they've never done before. Anscape senior writer David Dennis Jr.
They need to win small. All respect to Jackson Hayes, all respect to Alex Len. They just do not have interior presence, and that means that Luka is going to need to step up defensively. LeBron is going to need to play bigger, and they may even need to play at a faster pace than Luka or LeBron are used to.
LeBron, dealing with left foot and ankle soreness, is optimistic he'll play tonight. Team USA and Boston Bruins top defenseman Charlie McAvoy remains hospitalized with an infection in his right shoulder, as well as a significant injury to his AC joint. His status for the NHL season, which restarts Saturday, unclear. The U.S. takes on Canada in the Four Nations Face-Off Championship game tomorrow, 8 Eastern, ESPN. Eagles promoted passing game coordinator, associate head coach Kevin Patullo to offensive coordinator.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Thursday, I'll tell you which NFL players would benefit from being cut and finding a new home. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekdays at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Goodwood, Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Musa. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Yep.
It's hump day.
James Hurst in 15 minutes.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
He played football for the New Orleans Saints. Now he talks about the New Orleans Saints.
It's hump day.
The New Orleans Saints are hiring a coaching staff.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
They got a special teams coordinator now. And a new get-back coach.
It's hump day.
Looking forward to that.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Taylor Calandro. He'll talk about booze.
It's hump day.
Todd Walker.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
He played baseball. Pretty good at it.
It's hump day.
He'll be here in hour 3.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We got LSU football. We got Saints cap cuts.
It's hump day.
We got stuff.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
All right, let's begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Well, this is a bummer if you hadn't heard yet. LSU and Nichols aren't going to play a baseball game tonight. It's been postponed because of weather. If you haven't been keeping up, we are expecting temperatures. They are currently actually dropping. Temps are already in the upper 30s. They're looking at wind chills tonight in the 20s around game time. So you were talking about temps in the mid 30s, wind chills in the 20s. The adults in the room thought better of of it this early in the season to saying, hey, let's go play a baseball game in 20-degree weather and subject fans and players to that. So they're going to postpone the game. No decision as of right now on when it will be made up. And look, very candidly, this is probably the right decision. I mean, yes, you'd go down there and you'd face adversity playing in the cold. And we see games at the start of the Major League season every year played in snow and flurries and cold temps. And it sucks, and it's not enjoyable for anyone at all, but you kind of got to get through it. This is one where you don't have to play it. And quite honestly, the reason why Jay Johnson has started this whole initiative the past few seasons of moving early season games up to day games is to avoid cold night games. That's why when LSU opened the season last Friday, they played at 2 o'clock. That's why yesterday when LSU played Southern, they played at 2 o'clock. They're trying to avoid playing in the cold. And part of that is, yes, because it's uncomfortable, but the other part of it, which is probably even more relevant, is when you got pitchers going out there early in the season before they've really started to extend, do you really want them throwing when it's that difficult to stay warm? So you want to get them hot. You want to get them out there to throw. You'd much rather do it when the weather is more moderate than whether it's it's literally freezing. So they're not going to play this game tonight. They'll postpone it. It stinks because I would have loved to gone home tonight and watch a baseball game because 2 of the 4 games have been while I'm on air, which sucks. But probably a good decision for the Tigers. So they'll play this weekend against Omaha. By the way, if you're not following at home, Omaha, whose nickname, by the way, is the Mavericks, I just learned that, they played Nichols yesterday and beat Nichols. And so then they're coming to the box this weekend for a 3-game series, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we'll tell you more about that tomorrow and as we get closer to the weekend when LSU will be back out there. But for the guys, I don't know if they're going to practice today, if they get a day off, or what they're going to do. We'll see if we get more information as we move along. But the decision to not play today was made. So LSU and Nichols, when they agree to a future date and make up the game, they'll make it up, and we'll talk about it when they do. All right, it's After Further Review Show. Open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, and right now, the official beer of the big man on the cul-de-sac. You saw the Super Bowl ad with Shane Gillis and Peyton Manning and Post Malone, the big man on the cul-de-sac. Our friends here locally at Mockler Beverage are taking that to the next level to benefit you. They've got the big man on the cul-de-sac sweepstakes. All you got to do, post a photo on social media of your big man on the cul-de-sac, whatever it may be, flexing a little bit, and you don't have to have a cul-de-sac. You can go to their social media and kind of see examples of what they're looking for. But all you got to do is tag Mockler Beverage and use the hashtag BMOC, and you can win the Bud Light prize pack, which, by the way, is a Traeger grill, which is awesome. The Bud Light grilling apron, the leaf blower, or the Bud Light launcher, as it is in the commercial, and then the grill set as well with all the grilling utensils and the cool carrying case. So you can check it all out at their social, at Mockler Beverage. You can learn more to enter there at Mockler Beverage. Tag Mockler and hashtag BMOC to win Drink Easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. All right, James Hurst is going to be here in 7 minutes from right now as we'll talk a little New Orleans Saints with the former New Orleans Saint as Kellen Moore is assembling his staff. He has, in fact, Kellen Moore hired today a special teams coordinator, and he's hired a new director of sports performance or sports science. And the director of sports science is going to be Ted Rath. He kind of became famous or infamous during the NFL films and Hard Knocks with as the Rams get-back guy. He was the guy like pulling Sean McVay back all the time. But most recently had been in Philadelphia, and now he'll come to New Orleans. And maybe of greater significance, not to say that your director of sports science isn't significant, but the Saints have hired their first coordinator. They're promoting from within with Phil Galliano. Phil Galliano was the assistant special teams coordinator, and now they're promoting him to the full-time job. Phil Galliano actually coached in the Senior Bowl this past year, so was on staff under Darren Rizzi. Rizzi, as we know, was the interim head coach. He's now the Denver Broncos special teams coordinator, teaming up with Sean Payton again. So Phil Galliano being promoted from within. And we are all expecting still that the offensive coordinator will be Doug Nussmeier. as the Eagles today have named their offensive coordinator. Moving along as Kellen Moore is assembling his staff. A couple more roles filled today. We'll tell you much more about him as we move throughout the afternoon. James Hurst will be here in just a few minutes. All right, glad to have you hanging out with us here on a busy hump day here. We'll pivot a little bit because we're going to talk a good bit of previewing for LSU and Nichols and what we thought we were going to see tonight. The one thing I was really hoping to see was Gavin Guidry on the bump, like the one guy we haven't seen pitch yet. And my guess is they were going to give him the ball, let him start, and see if he could do what we saw Connor Ware and Zach Cohen do yesterday, which is go about 3 innings and see if he can kind of function and then hand it off to the one-inning assassins, as Jacob Myers called them on the show earlier this week. But we'll have to wait another day. Then it does kind of beg the question of what role might you see Guidry in, because if you were planning to start him in this game, which that's an assumption on my part, I'm sure Jay will be asked about that next time he speaks with reporters, but if you were planning to start Gavin Guidry in this game today, now you don't, you go into the weekend where, of course, you're going to start Cade Anderson, Anthony Hines, and Chase Shores Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Do you use Gavin Guidry in middle relief to extend the way they did William Schmidt on Sunday, or does he go to his back of the bullpen role as maybe a closer, pitch to the 8th or the 9th inning? So something we'll have to keep an eye on this weekend, but still yet to see Gavin Guidry make his 2025 debut. All right, let's knock out our first break of the show. We'll come back, talk some Saints with James Hurst. Really insightful guy. We appreciate him for his time. We'll do that. As we mentioned, Todd Walker will be here in hour 3, and we'll talk to you as well. So you can always email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. James Hurst is next.
After further review.
AFR is brought to you by Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics. Matter of fact, all baseball season long. If you're going to be out at the box, every time there's a mound visit, remember those mound visits are presented by Action Industries. And our friends over at Action Industries do so much. Of course, from commercial contractor services to all the, as we've talked about with the turnaround division, the advanced turnaround group. But even beyond that, our friends over at Action Industries have this very extensive menu of services, like fabrication shop services, for example, pipe, structural steel, pressure vessels, which not everyone does. They fabricate their pipes in separate shops, alloy and carbon steel. Their 2 sections are segregated. They're ASME certified vessel manufacturers. They issue and have all 3 stamps, R, S, and U. They offer food grade fabrication. So check them out. It's Action Industries. You can check them out online or their 2 offices, Action Industries.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
This is wild. I was scrolling Twitter in the break, and Kevin Weeks, who works for NHL.com, TSN, tweeted, in speaking with Deputy Commissioner Bill Daley and other sources involved, I can confirm there was a recent meeting in New York City with a group expressing their interest in bringing an NHL expansion team to New Orleans. Eh? I mean, they used to have the New Orleans Brass there in the ECHL. They played at some theater, and nobody went. That's stupid. Okay, I'll yell more about that later. James Hurst, former New Orleans Saint, good to join us for a couple minutes here. Hey, man, thanks for the time as always. How are you?
Absolutely, doing great. Glad to be on.
Would you want there to be an NHL team in New Orleans?
I think it would be a pretty interesting dynamic. Like you said, nobody showed up. I think, unfortunately, that would be my guess as well.
Ooh, I mean, I'd love the opportunity to see something different, but my goodness, that certainly doesn't seem like that makes a whole lot of economic sense. But that I would assume they know way more than me. Anyway, hey, I'm curious your thoughts. We hadn't had a chance to talk since Kellen Moore was hired. I mean, you're a veteran guy, and if I'm not mistaken, man, you're early 30s, right? What about 33?
33, yep, that's right.
You're 33. What would it be like if your head coach in the NFL was 36?
It would be very different. It's not something that I experienced. I think you're putting a lot of trust in your players to be able to maintain that sort of respect that a head coach should have instead of a peer-to-peer relationship. This has to be, he's in a superior role, and he has to be treated that way and respected that way. So I think you're really trusting your players that the culture in the locker room would be able to handle that similar of an age.
You played with the veteran guys, Cam Jordan and Mario Davis, guys like that. Do you think they would handle it well?
I do. I definitely do. I feel like this is the way the NFL is moving. There seems to be a youth movement in coaches, and some of them have had a lot of success. So I think it's a good thing. I think the Saints front office, they have to have the confidence that the leaders in that locker room would be able to handle something like that, and that the older veterans on the team would be able to instill that in the young guys so that it's not a 1 or 2 year relationship, but it's something, hopefully that lasts for a decade or more.
James, you're one of the reasons I like talking to you and guys in your position is when you're so closely removed from the league, you're very familiar with a lot of the players and the coaches. So while you never coached or played for Kellen Moore, you certainly played on teams against him. When you were playing, did you have any opinion of his teams, his offenses, of him at all during your time as a player?
I really liked him, to be honest with you. Particularly, I felt like he made a big impact in Dallas. They had some really good seasons offensively there with Dak. Now, they threw the ball, a huge portion of the time. So, in that type of way, you wonder what the offense would look like, because this Super Bowl winning season with the Eagles, they featured Saquon Barkley, and he really was the key reason, I believe, for their success and their Super Bowl win. I don't know that I understand what his mantra is, or what he's going to stick to when the game's on the line. I do know that he's coached some very talented quarterbacks, And in the middle of a big quarterback decision, a lot rides on that. So, what is he going to be like developing a young guy? We just haven't seen it, not that I know of with him. So it'll be interesting to see. But I know he's had a lot of success. And from that regard, he's definitely deserving of a chance to be a head coach.
James Hurst is our guest. He's assembling his staff right now, and you know one of the guys, of course, Joel Thomas, who was the running backs coach in New Orleans for 9 seasons. He was there for all the years you were there. Just spent this season in New York with the Giants. Now is back in New Orleans. What can you tell us about Joel Thomas for those who maybe just don't know much about the Saints staff or know Joel on the periphery?
Yeah, I love Joel. He's a great person. I think he's a good coach. Obviously, I can't necessarily speak to him as a running back coach, but what I can speak to is his involvement with the offensive line. I think was pretty unique in my perspective. He was always, whether in our meetings or out at practice, he was talking to the guys about, hey, what run plays do you like? Or, hey, Alvin really likes these plays. What do you think about them? Or what are you guys trying to accomplish with this sort of run blocking scheme? Same with, third down kind of pass protection and blitz pickup. He was always really involved with the offensive line, which I appreciated because, those things work together. If a running back can read it well and the O-line can block it well, that needs to be made known to all involved parties. And I think he did a really good job of communicating amongst the position groups as opposed to just, putting his head down in the running backs room and making sure they were, good with their jobs, not worrying about anybody else.
James, I think we all, media fans, we focus so much on the coordinators because they tend to be the play callers on both sides of the ball. How would you describe the importance of the role that position coaches have on a staff?
It's vitally important. I mean, this is who the players spend 90% of their time with. I mean, you're in the meeting rooms, you're watching film with these coaches. It's not super common for the offense to meet as a whole and drill down into details. Those are more game plan overview type of meetings. So the position coach is super important. One, as a coach, they have to be proficient. They have to be able to teach the proper technique or appropriate technique to their players to get the job done. But they also have to have the relationship, right? They have to know their guys. They have to care about them, and there has to be more than just a coach-player relationship. It has to be something a little bit personal because that's how you're going to get the most out of your guys.
We get James Hurst with us here for a couple more minutes. While you were in Baltimore, you played for one head coach. You came to New Orleans when Sean Payton was here, and you were there for the transition to Dennis Allen. Can you explain to us just kind of how the transition went because so much of that staff was retained as opposed to now where there is a lot of staff turnover? And just maybe the pros or cons of retention versus turnover?
Yeah, I'll start with the pros. Truthfully, I feel like there's less pros and more cons in this situation. The pros are that you have some sort of continuity. The coaches know the players well. They can speak to their strengths and weaknesses really well because they've spent time working with them in the meeting rooms at practice. So those relationships are already established, and you don't have to spend the large amount of energy it takes to learn each other and learn those relationships and what they're going to look like. The cons in a sort of coaching change like that is the transition of power, if you will, I think gets really muddy. It's hard for, let's talk about the Saints. When Dennis Allen became the head coach, he instantly became the boss of every coach on the offensive side of the ball. Whereas in the past, the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator, they were peers in a sense. When someone gets promoted to that head position, to me, it feels like it's hard for, in our case, the offensive coordinators and the offensive coaches to kind of get on board with that and roll with that, change in power and in position. So this is why I think it's much better to go outside the building when hiring a head coach. And this is not just the Saints. I believe this for everybody because it allows everyone to come into the building, allows all these players to come into the building knowing who's in charge, who's my boss, who's their boss, and we can understand the flow of power. So that way when decisions have to be made, it's very clear-cut who has the final call. So that's the position room, that's the offensive coaches meetings, that's the defensive coaches meetings, and then that's in the full staff meetings. Look, when they got to make a decision on 4th and 1, hey, are we going for it this week? The head coach makes that call, right, and he sticks with it. So I think it's good for the power dynamics in the building, and I think it makes the players and some of the lower level coaches, it makes their job a little easier because they don't have to wonder about that stuff. It's very clearly laid out for everybody.
That's a really fascinating take, and how this all may go. It sounds like transitioning the way they are might actually be beneficial as opposed to trying to retain the culture the way they did back in 2021. Maybe the other biggest question, James, is the cap. And this for a decade now, this has been a conversation we have, and I think all of us are sort of numb to it. We just know what's going to happen, right? They're going to restructure deals. They'll get within cap compliance. Internally, like among the players, did you all talk about that, the salary cap, the issues, all the contract shuffling that had to happen?
Not much. A lot of the times in the locker room, the cap situation was very personal to each player because the truth of the matter is we're all competing over the same dollars in that salary cap. So that's kind of one area where the players, particularly in the same position group, they might not be talking a lot about the cap situation. However, I do know that everyone was aware of it. Everyone was aware that, it was keeping us from going out and signing, a big splash free agent signing. They knew that. And for a while there, that was okay because, we felt like we had everyone in the building at those big time important positions to get the job done. But also, I think you've seen that shift a little bit. I think maybe the last 2 years, maybe 3 years, you've seen us missing players at those hallmark positions that are real game changers. And without the ability to go out and sign someone like that, it just makes it really hard to compete at a high level playoff team.
When you look at the job, it was very clear that this organization was all in to win at the end with Drew Brees, and they were sort of mortgaging the future. I'm not going to ask you with the benefit of hindsight if that was the right decision, but do you think that the way they continue to approach this cap situation is the right way to go? Or would you be in favor of, so I guess it'd be hard internally, James, but of understanding you're going for a full reset?
I do think it would be hard. I agree with you. As a player, getting the feeling that, hey, the team's not trying to win next year, just knowing that every player's career is very limited. You never know when your last game will be, your last play will be. So to have that feeling of, my team doesn't feel like they're doing everything they can to compete and to make a playoff push, that would be something that would be really, really hard. But I think there's got to be change. You missed the playoffs 3 years in a row, and that is the barometer of success, right? Playoff success and Super Bowl championships. Those are the goals that everyone's competing after. So if you're not even in contention for the Super Bowl, I think you have to make changes. And I do think the time is now. You could talk about hindsight with the decision in the past, but I do think the time's now. You have a natural transition with a new head coach, a young head coach who's hiring young position coaches. It feels like the tides are changing. And I really think, as everyone knows, this quarterback decision that surely is coming up soon is going to tell us a lot about where the Saints are headed this year and into the future.
What do you think they should do?
I think it's time. I do. I think with the lack of success in a weak division in the past 3 seasons, with a quarterback who's on a really limiting contract for the team, we've tried the restructuring, right? We've done it. We've kicked the can down the road, if you will. But I think it's time. You've got a new head coach who would love to establish himself and make a name for himself as a successful head coach. As an offensive guy, I'm sure he wants a new quarterback. The quarterback is the hinge position right now for the Saints. There's a lot going on. They have great draft capital this year, so that's something you love to see as a young head coach. And I think we need to utilize that and understand that this is not an easy situation for any head coach. Prime Bill Belichick could walk into the building and not necessarily have a ton of success just because of the current situation of the team and the cap structure. So we need to have realistic expectations, I believe, and especially if you have a young new quarterback, I think we need to even lower those expectations in the near future a little bit more. But understanding that it can all go up, and if you get the right guy at quarterback, as we saw with the Commanders, anything can happen.
I'm so glad you brought up Bill Belichick, because as a former Tar Heel, I would love to know your thoughts on your new coach.
I'm excited. Obviously, his brand and his status is bigger than being the head coach of the UNC football team, which is just crazy to talk about. And that just speaks to his level of success that he experienced in the NFL. So to have a winner, a proven winner like that as your head coach is super exciting. In the world of NIL, that name brand, we've already seen it pull recruits from all over the place and secure some in-state ones. The recruiting has seemed a little bit better this year and years past. So it's really exciting. I know the fan base is excited. Season tickets have been selling like crazy compared to the last 5 years. So it's a fresh start. It's a new beginning, but I'm excited to see the product on the field. I'm so interested to see if it's going to look like college football or if it'll look a little bit more like the NFL.
I'm just going to be fascinated to see if he wears a suit on the sideline, the hoodie. I'm here for all of it, man. This is going to be a show. Hey, great stuff as always, man. Always insightful. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That's James Hurst, former Saints offensive lineman. We appreciate a couple of minutes. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement. If you weigh or measure something, Michelli, they sell, service, and rent the products used to weigh and measure. They're our nation's largest distributor of scales. I love saying that because when you think about it, you should take a lot of pride in this. This is a Louisiana business, born in Louisiana in 1947, and they've maintained their local ownership since. Their headquarters are right there at their office in Harahan, despite the fact that they're now present in 13 different states with more than 30 offices. If you weigh or measure something, Michelli sells, services, rents the products used to weigh and measure. If you need calibration, any type of calibration, they offer it. ISO 17025 accreditation available. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. Check them out online, Michelli.com. All right, y'all. Appreciate you for being here with us. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Todd Walker will be here 2 hours from right now in hour number 3. We're hoping to preview LSU and Nichols a little bit, but that game now postponed due to the weather. It's supposed to be wind chills in the 20s tonight down in Thibodaux, so they've decided LSU and Nichols to postpone tonight's baseball game. So we'll just talk some big picture stuff with T-Dub in hour 3. We look forward to that. Let me knock out a break. We'll come back, go around the SEC. Taylor Calandro in 15 minutes. You can line up your questions, get your booze questions in for Taylor. Email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Say AFR.
After further review.
Okay, 2 things to remind you about. I mean, there's millions of things to remind you about with Rouse's because you can walk in the door and there's like millions of products, literally. But 2 things, primarily. Number 1, king cakes. Counting down to Carnival. Just a few more weeks. A few more weeks until Mardi Gras, and once it's done, and the king cakes go away for a year. So load up, stock up, and if you want to ship a king cake somewhere in the country, maybe get a family member who's moved out of state, maybe you've got coworkers or clients in other states, you want to give them a little taste of Carnival, Rouse's helps you do it. Go to Rouse's.com or the Rouse's app, Rouse's.com or the Rouse's app, and you can pick your king cake and ship it anywhere in the continental 48. Also, seafood, y'all, it's time. They've got 4 pounds of boiled crawfish, 2 pounds of boiled Gulf shrimp, corn, and potatoes available on the weekends. You want to go pick up some boiled crawfish, now is the time to do it over at Rouse's. This feels like home.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
.1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and Citizens Bank and Trust want to help you cover your car payments. It's a $5,000 grand prize with a bonus chance to win free car washes from Benny's Car Wash for 6 months. We're also letting you earn extra entries by subscribing to our LouisianaSports.net daily newsletter. To sign up, visit 1045ESPN.com.
That's a pretty good deal.
I think so. Well, yeah, car washes would be excellent.
But it's also you're paying your car note, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what it is?
Car payments, yeah.
Note payment,
Yeah,
the same thing.
yeah.
It's the same thing.
5G grand prize.
How about that? Go to 1045ESPN.com. Oh, it's right there on the homepage. Look, Paul, it's right there. Car payment for a year sweepstakes. It's right there. Pay your car payments for a year and car washes for a year from Benny's. I love my
6
car.
months on the car wash.
Oh, 6 months.
6 months.
I love my Benny's car wash membership. Oh, and you can get more entries if you sign up for the Louisiana Sports.net newsletter.
That's what I've heard, yeah.
That sounds like a great deal. How do you do that?
I mean, you just go to LouisianaSports.net and right on the homepage, there's a pop-up where you just click subscribe.
Yeah, there is. There's also one right there at 1045ESPN.com. Look, it's right there. It says subscribe to our Louisiana Sports.net newsletter.
Right there.
There it is.
So you're looking at your car payments covered, car washes for 6 months, and all the sports news you could want at LouisianaSports.net.
And all that's free, by the way.
Yep.
For everybody. Whether you sign up for the newsletter or not. It's free. Newsletter's pretty cool. Email drops in the inbox at 9 a.m. every day. Actually, I'm looking at this, and that the flag, there it is. Okay. When you go to Louisiana, you can pull this up, Paul. When you go to LouisianaSports.net, there's a little flag, this yellow flag that comes off the left side. That's where you subscribe. You just put in your email address, then boom, just like that, boom, you're subscribed. And then it comes to you every single morning, 9 a.m. in your inbox. And if it doesn't, then I yell at Chris Marler. And I threaten to fire him.
That's how that goes down, yeah.
We've gotten close a few times. LouisianaSports.net. Did you have anything else there?
No, not really.
Yeah. You weren't really saying words. I figured you might say words. You didn't say words.
Said words earlier, but yeah, not right there. I had nothing.
Paula, you got words over there? You got anything? Words to say?
No, not really.
Yep. Not the best color man in the business for nothing, folks. So you guys are on point today. Love the energy.
Yeah, I mean, Matt almost always fires
Awesome.
Marler. I don't know what you want me to say there.
Love the energy. Hey, Jeff Duncan has replied to Kevin Weeks. So Kevin Weeks is a dude that works for NHL.com. He tweeted earlier today reporting that there is a group expressing interest in bringing an NHL expansion team to New Orleans. This is a credible guy. I mean, he works for NHL.com. I mean, he's got a verified Twitter and all that stuff. So that would stand to be a reputable source. Jeff Duncan, of course, NOLA.com. He went and did a little digging here. He quote tweeted Kevin Weeks and said, Doug Thornton, who oversees management of the Smoothie King Center for the state, tells me no one has contacted him, ASM Global, or the Louisiana Stadium and Exposition District about any NHL expansion propositions in New Orleans. Okay. I would think there's a chicken or the egg conversation there. Like, what do you need first? Do you need the venue and all that stuff? Or do you need someone willing to buy a team and locate it in New Orleans or anywhere? I mean, it would stand to reason like it doesn't matter if you have a venue if you don't have a team to play there. The harder thing to achieve is having the team to play in the venue. You have the team, then you most certainly will find the venue. But it's worth following. Give me some feedback here. I'd love to know, man. Like, would y'all want the NHL in New Orleans? Seriously, give me feedback. I have an opinion on it, but what do you think? Email me, tweet me, text me. Lots of ways you can get involved in the show. Taylor Calandro is coming up here in just a bit as well, so get your booze questions in. And if you drink booze, make sure you drink plenty of Evermore. It'll hydrate you. Better form of hydration, EVAMOR, Evermore.com, Evermore.com. Drink Evermore. Available at great local retailers all over, not only Louisiana, but all over the country. They got national distribution. It's a Louisiana product. They have a natural artesian well right there in Covington. And they built the facility around the well. As you're pulling into the main gates at Evermore, you see the well right there. And they pipe the water right out of the well, into the facility. Boom. It's bottled, and as soon, it never touches air until you uncap it, take that first delicious sip. It's Evermore. EVAMOR, Evermore.com. Okay, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
State's promoting Courtney Williams to assistant GM, that according to Matt Zenitz at 24/7. Prior to arriving in Starkville, he was the assistant director of player development at Memphis. Williams was the director of scouting for the Bulldogs the last 2 seasons, and while director of scouting, no doubt they had started working on 4-star offensive tackle Emmanuel Tucker, who now has committed to Mississippi State, one of the top offensive tackle prospects in the country for 2026. 6'7", 285, picked Mississippi State over Tennessee, LSU, and about 15 other programs. He's the number 20 offensive tackle, the number 271 overall prospect, the 7th commit for 2026.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia staffer James Ellis has been promoted to director of scouting. Ellis kind of has been leading a lot of the recruiting and player personnel decisions there for Georgia. He is a Georgia graduate, a lot of different roles within the football program since 2019. Ellis will be in charge of the day-to-day recruiting operations.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Torian Gray and Sterling Lucas have earned new titles there on the South Carolina staff. I guess it's just that time of the week where everyone just hands out new titles, or at least announces them. Might be because you got like board of supervisors meetings and stuff like that at the end of the month, so all this stuff can kind of be confirmed. Sterling Lucas, who's the outside linebackers and edge coach, he's added the title of defensive run game coordinator. Torian Gray, their DB coach, is now the defensive pass game coordinator, so they each get a nice little raise.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
And how about this? You want to talk about must-see TV? Alabama head coach Kalen DeBose is going to be the subject of a new docuseries. No, really. It's called The Tides That Bind Inside Alabama Football, a new docuseries premiering February the 19th on Fox Nation. Is Fox Nation different than Fox or Fox News or Fox Sports? Is it its own standalone channel?
It is its own standalone channel, yes.
Why would you put this on linear TV?
That's a great question.
Doesn't make a lot of sense. Anyway, it chronicles the team's evolution under new head coach Calandro. Do you think we're going to make an appearance?
I was going to ask you that, and I was also going to ask you, do you think there are going to be flames included in this? I mean, are you going to be able to see the smoke?
I mean, if they're doing a docuseries on Kalen DeBose, and we're not included, they are missing. And I'm not being presumptuous here. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that everybody in America knows about AFR, Bama is burning. But what I am saying is everyone associated with that program is aware of AFR and Bama is burning. When I say, I mean, everyone is aware. Being at SEC Media Days last summer, in the epicenter of SEC football, it was evident everyone is aware of this show and Bama is burning. All of them are aware, okay? If we're not in that docuseries, shame on them. And I don't guess we're going to be because they didn't ask for permission to use any of our content. So they could just have a copyright strike and just take our stuff and use it, which who was the one that did that?
Wasn't it Amazon?
No, it was whoever did the LSU.
Yeah, Amazon.
Was that
the money
Shaq's
thing?
people. Yeah,
they did that.
Which, fine. Okay. I'm going to say yes either way.
Right.
But
yeah, of course. I mean,
there's some ethics and legalities that go along with this sometimes. All right, let's talk booze with Taylor Calandro next.
AFR.
Get Gordon. Get it done. Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys. Maybe I get Gordon and go sue him. That's what I'll do. That's what I'll do, Muse. If they use our content without asking my permission, I'm going to get Gordon and get it done. Oh, that's not exactly the kind of law that Gordon practices. He might be able to help me out, though. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. Get Gordon and get it done. You can always go read the client testimonials at the website. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, hit the testimonials at the top of the page. And you can see dollar amounts for some of their jury awards. You can read testimonials from their clients, what their experience has been like with Gordon and his team. And I also want to stress, Gordon has offices all over the state. So, if you've been injured and you want the best, but you don't want to travel, that's okay because there's a Gordon office near you. They're everywhere, all over the state of Louisiana. So, you've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. Go do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. Get Gordon and get it done.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wildin'.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded. because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. They're the gang with the slang.
Keep it 100. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
I don't understand.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. We talk a little booze every Wednesday here on Whiskey Wednesday. Cold night like tonight might be a great opportunity to get a little pour of the brown water. Taylor, how are you, dude?
Good, man. Cold.
I know, man. Actually, the first question I got was from Tommy Primo, who said, Taylor, what bourbon do you recommend to sip when it's cold outside? You're making a roux for a seafood gumbo. That sounds like an awesome night, by the way, Tommy. Can I come over, please?
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. We just got Woodford Double Oaked.
Oh.
I don't know if you're familiar with Double Oaked.
No,
but
I'm not.
It's been a distillery-only release since like 2017, I think. This is the first time they released it to retail, and I got to try it over the weekend. It is fantastic. It's 90 proof, but it drinks like it's higher proof, but not in a bad way.
Is this the one? Is this 121.2?
No, it's 90.
Oh, it's Double Oak is 90 proof, huh?
Double Oak. Yeah.
I'm looking for a picture of it somewhere if I can find it, but there it is. Yep, here we go. 90.4 proof. Yeah, it's $200.
It's $200.
Wow.
It's 700 milliliter.
Mm.
But it's really good. If you're a fan of Woodford, especially if you're a fan of Woodford Double Oak, which I love, I would suggest getting a bottle of that.
That is an expensive bottle, man. 200 bones.
Expensive. That's creeping up. We don't get bottles that often that are that expensive.
That's true. I mean, you just don't you don't see those on the shelf usually. I mean, unless you're talking Scotch.
Well, yeah, Scotch lives in that price range, but yeah, bourbon, American whiskey in general. Now these days it is getting more expensive in that area, but 200 is still on the high end.
Yeah,
but it's fantastic. I'm not going to say it's worth every bit of $200 because it's just a lot of money.
Yeah.
But if you see it, try it. It's very good.
Here's one from Scott. Said, ask Taylor if you're a fan of the smoked cocktail bourbon. I got the smoke show for Christmas, and it's a game changer.
Smoked cocktail bourbon. Oh, like a smoker, I'm assuming is what he's talking about?
I guess so. Maybe like a wood chip smoker to do a smoked cocktail, I would think.
Yeah. I've never really experimented with one. I do like, I've had smoked old fashions before at other cocktail bars that I enjoy. It's just not something I do at my home.
So Erica a couple of years ago got me one of those, the cocktail smoker, right? Where you put the wood chips, you smoke them. The presentation is really cool, right? So it is a cool way that if you have people coming over, you can smoke a cocktail, and it looks pretty cool. And I think aromatically, it's really cool. I don't know if that makes a ton of difference in the flavor profile of the cocktail, at least not that I've noticed. But
no, some are better than others. Like there's high-end ones that do it better. Do you like it? Do you like doing it? Do you like the process of doing it?
It's not like it's a big deal. I mean, you just put some wood chips in the little topper, and you got the torch, and you just. So it's. I mean, it's. I don't think it's any big deal. If I'm going to make an old fashioned, I'm adding 60 seconds onto the process.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've never really messed with one. I do know there's different like grades and quality of those types of things that can affect the taste.
Let's see. Clayton said, ask Taylor, since Canada isn't buying bourbon due to tariffs, have you noticed more allocated bottles here yet? That's interesting.
You know, I read that earlier today, and I don't know if that's true or not, but
okay.
I read that earlier today, and I don't even know what the news source was. So, but that's where my brain went first. Is, well, if Canada's not buying American whiskey, then naturally we should get the reciprocal of that. But I don't know if that's true, though.
That'd be awesome if it is.
I'm going to have to. I'm going to look into that because I did see a snippet of that earlier today, a couple hours ago.
All right.
And I meant to look, and I forgot to look at it again. So.
All right, I ran us up against the clock, so we got to bounce. Y'all get by see Taylor right there on Government Street now at Government Street, Calandro's. I need to pop and see you over there, man. We appreciate the time as always.
All right, man. See you, man.
All right, be well. Have a great rest of your week. It's after further review. Sports Center's coming back. Pro Football Focus took a stab at ranking the top returning quarterbacks in college football next year. You might be surprised where they have Nuss.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020. You want to see 2020, call 924-2020. I actually got a text. This is really cool. From Williamson Eye Center reminding me that I'm due for my annual eye exam, because you should always have your annual eye exam. And so they've got locations all over Greater Baton Rouge, right? They've got their location in Connells Park. They've got the location on the Baton Rouge General Campus on Bluebonnet. They've got Zachary, and they've got Denham, and they've got Lutcher. So they got locations all over. There's no excuse. You should always have your annual eye exam. And when we tell you about the Williamson Eye Center, they are full service. Eye care, eye wear, and eye surgery. So go have your annual eye exam. You can do it at the Williamson Eye Center. You wear contacts or glasses, you need to update that prescription or buy new contacts or glasses, you can do it at the Williamson Eye Center. And if you want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, they have a refractive procedure that can help. It's the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, Know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime. At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Los Angeles in the NBA spotlight tonight as the league returns from the All-Star break. Lakers-Hornets, only game on the schedule. Lakers don't expect Luka Doncic to have a minutes restriction going forward and will be leaning on him in the latter half of this season. No NBA player is under more pressure than Luka, believes ESPN NBA analyst Alan Hahn.
We're all going to be watching, and every move he makes, every time they lose a game, it's not LeBron's fault. It's going to be Luka's fault. He has to carry that weight. Can he? Can he deal with it? It's going to be so much to watch with him and this team for the rest of the season that he is going to have to prove early on that the Mavs made a mistake and the Lakers are better for it.
LeBron James optimistic he'll play tonight despite left ankle and foot soreness. Team USA and Boston Bruins top defenseman Charlie McAvoy remains hospitalized with an infection in his right shoulder, as well as a significant injury to his AC joint. His status for the NHL season unclear. McAvoy was hurt last week in the Four Nations face-off. NFL, the Eagles promoted passing game coordinator, associate head coach Kevin Patullo to offensive coordinator.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Thursday, I'll tell you which NFL players would benefit from being cut and finding a new home. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekdays at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right. Woo!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. LSU baseball postponed. They will not play tonight. They have announced the rescheduled date for LSU and Nichols. They're going to play on Monday at the Box. So it'll be a 4-game weekend for LSU. 3 games against Omaha, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then they'll play Monday, 6 p.m. at the Box. And then they'll face Nichols in Thibodaux. So they will make the trip to Thibodaux on April the 8th. So make that notation. No game tonight because of the temperatures, which are wind chills tonight are expected to be in the 20s. So being a bit more sensible here, they'll move the game to Monday. The high Monday is supposed to be sunny Monday with a high of 66, low of 41. So maybe chilly at the Box Monday evening, but not anything like what we're going to see tonight. And then April the 8th, they'll make the trip down to Nichols. So just file that away. Little update there as we move through the afternoon. So LSU now is less than a month away from the start of spring practice. And I think all of us are very excited to see the transfers that are coming in and how they may assimilate and who's going to fill in where and some of the roster spots that are open. One that is a no-doubter is, of course, quarterback Garrett Nussmeier returning for his 5th collegiate season, his 2nd as the LSU starter. And I think all of us have very high expectations for Nussmeier. Presently, he has the second best Heisman odds behind only Arch Manning. It's a little odd that Arch Manning's there to begin with, but I get it. He's got the name. He's going to draw action. Texas was in the playoff this year. I get all of it. Well, Pro Football Focus did a ranking of the top 10 returning quarterbacks for the 2025 college football season. So it's their ranking. It's their subjective opinion. And if you know anything about the show, when we do things like this, I don't necessarily care about lists. Lists are completely subjective. It's just someone's opinion. Your list of the top 10 returning quarterbacks, there's no more credibility associated with Pro Football Focus ranking top 10 returning quarterbacks, or you doing it or me doing it or anybody. It's just our opinion based on whatever factors we want to consider. And quite honestly, it feels like you're ranking ice cream flavors. Like, there's no bad choices. I mean, you run through the list. I'm going to run through it, but they're all good. It's just like, well, do you like mint chocolate chip or do you like Rocky Road? Like, I'm not a super big fan of Rocky Road because I don't love nuts in my ice cream. I mean, I kind of love birthday cake from Bluebell. There's this thing that Ben & Jerry's does called Americone Dream, which I think is awesome as well. Like, yeah, whatever, right? You may not like that. Okay. It just may not be it's just a preference thing. But so it's less the order that these quarterbacks are in and more, I think, the names on the list that were kind of interesting to me. So and you'll understand the theme here in a sec. So number one on the list is Cade Klubnik from Clemson. And, of course, we know LSU is going to face Clemson in the season opener up there in Clemson, South Carolina. Followed by Sam Leavitt from Arizona State. Sun Devils were a playoff team this year. And they drew an awful lot of attention because of the run they had late in the season, winning the conference, going to the playoff, and pushing Texas to the brink. So Leavitt's number two. This one's kind of interesting to me. Carson Beck at number three. I don't even know if Carson Beck is going to be healthy enough to play. Dude's coming off a UCL. Like, are we really completely confident that he's going to be ready to rip and roar and run? You can stay here, Paul. Thank you. Drew Aller from Penn State, number 4. Then Nuss at 5. And then the bottom 5 on this list of 10 are Arch Manning from Texas. I'm going to come back and give you an opinion on it. Arch Manning at 6. DJ Lagway from Florida, former 5-star, at 7. Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt, 8. Couple more familiar names. Nico Iamaleava at 9. And then Kevin Jennings, who was the quarterback at SMU, led them to the playoffs this year at 10. And for good measure, they did have one honorable mention, and it was Taylor Green from Arkansas. So they list 11 quarterbacks. One of them is Garrett Nussmeier. Of the other 10, LSU plays 4 of those teams. A quick thought on, I guess, on the list who they have here. I mean, Cade Klubnik is kind of perplexing because he was this 5-star who came in, struggled early, but this last year was really good. Threw for just over 3,000 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. He's coming back for his 4th year. I think there's a lot of people high on him. Sam Leavitt, the college football playoff increased his profile. Carson Beck, we talked about coming off the injury, like how good or healthy or ready is he really even going to be to go for Miami. Drew Aller, he's played in 2 seasons as the starter, as the full-time starter, 53 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. In 2 seasons, 53 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He's been really effective, and they got to the playoff this past year. Nuss at 5. Arch Manning, just for context, only has 95 career attempts. Arch Manning, who they have 6 on this list, 95 career attempts, and the bulk of those came in the 2 games that Quinn Ewers missed this past season. DJ Lagway, look, he was a 5-star, but this year as a freshman had 12 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. High ceiling guy, But are we really convinced he's going to break through? We've seen lots of high ceiling guys that were 5 stars that the light never really comes on. Pavia, Nico, Jennings, and then Taylor Green as well. Wrap out the list as we mentioned. I guess here's the way I would ask the question. Is there anybody on that list that you would take over Garrett Nussmeier for 2025? That would be my caveat. Because, I could make a case for Arch Manning if you knew you were going to get him for 2 years or maybe 3. I could maybe make the case for DJ Lagway over the next 3 years over Nussmeier for 1. But if we're just talking Kate Klubnik, Drew Aller, 2 guys that have been starters for 2 years, but they're a year younger than Nuss, who's going into his 5th season. So, there's maybe an argument to be made for some of these guys. But if you asked on that list, I'm trying not to be a homer. I'm trying to look at this objectively. If I could have one guy on that list for 1 season, for the 2025 football season, I think I would take Garrett Nussmeier. Klubnik would be interesting only because he kept the turnovers down last year. But that was a 3-loss Clemson team. Klubnik went for 36 and 6. Nuss threw for more yards, but Nuss also had to do more in that offense. I don't know that I could tell you I would take Sam Levitt just because of the competition. Carson Beck's coming off an injury. Drew Aller, if you watched him in the playoff game against Notre Dame, I just don't know that I believe Drew Aller is capable of beating good teams with his arm. Garrett Nussmeier can do it. We saw him do it against Ole Miss. Arch, super high ceiling, but 95 career attempts. DJ Lagway, again, a young guy. Diego Pavia, total gamer, but limited. Nico, tons of arm ability. We know that. But boy, that Tennessee offense really struggled at times a year ago, especially in the first half of ball games. Kevin Jennings, I think, is a really interesting player. Super dynamic runner and passer. But again, playing at SMU as opposed to playing in the SEC or the Big Ten just feels like it's a different level. And then Taylor Green, again, just a young guy figuring it out. I certainly wouldn't take Taylor Green over Nuss. I'm not sure I would take anybody on that list over Nuss. And by the way, when you look at the quarterbacks that LSU is going to face next year, they're going to face 4 of them on this list. Klubnik, Lagway, Pavia, and Taylor Green. Well, remember, you're going to be favored in Baton Rouge over Florida. You're going to be favored in Nashville over Vanderbilt, and you're going to be favored at home over Arkansas. So 3 of the 4 on this list that you're going to face, you're going to be favored in those games. The one that you're probably not going to be favored is the road game at Clemson to start the season, which is going to probably be within a field goal. I think Clemson right now, wherever you look, it's point and a half, 2 points, somewhere around there. So, and that may move by the time the season comes around. We'll see. But when you look at the quarterbacks LSU is going to face, and I'm not counting Tech, Southeastern, sorry, Paulie, or Western Kentucky. Let's just acknowledge those games are going to be what they are. Here's the quarterbacks you're going to face. Klubnik, Lagway, Austin Simmons from Ole Miss, Lenora Sellers from South Carolina in Baton Rouge, Pavia, Marcel Reed in Baton Rouge, very likely Ty Simpson from Alabama, Taylor Green, and then John Mateer, who's the new quarterback who transferred into Oklahoma. Now, he was very good last year at Washington State and was one of the top quarterbacks in the portal this cycle. Played 12 games, threw for 3,100 yards, 29 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. That's impressive. But half their schedule was the Mountain West. Oh, and they played Oregon State. So I'll come back to it, man. When you really spell this out, I'm not sure that there's another quarterback on this list that I would take over Nuss. Klubnik would be interesting because he's been a 2-year starter and he's kept the turnovers down. I also don't know that there's a game you're going to play this season where you don't have the edge at quarterback. And when I look at games, I look at coin flip games, I always look at 3 things: venue, coach, and quarterback. The one where it's a little iffy is when you go play at Clemson. every other game, when you go venue coach quarterback, if that's breaking the tie, like when you play Vanderbilt, you're just going to be a favorite there. But if you're talking about maybe like a coin flip game, like maybe home against A&M or at Bama or something like that, and you go venue coach quarterback, LSU's going to have 2 of those 3 in every game they play. Start the hype train, y'all. It's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Now I got a break. Come back. Haven't gotten to this yet. By the way, shout out to Alex Hurst. Oh, my God. I knew I was going to do that. James Hurst. Alex Hurst played offensive line at LSU 13 years ago. James Hurst, former Saints offensive lineman, who was with us in hour 1. Great convo. If you missed that conversation, make sure you catch it on demand. Of course, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. Let me now got a quick break. When we come back, Saints have made 2 new staff hires. I'll tell you about them when we return on AFR.
AFR.
Hump Day shows are brought to you by Good Wood Men's Sexual Wellness. And I want to tell you that I'm grateful and I'm proud of a lot of you who have reached out, who've gone to the website, yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. I get it. It's a funny name. The logo's funny. There's lots of double entendre there. I get it. And part of that is to bring some levity to the whole thing to make you feel comfortable. But what I really want to stress is that if you're dealing with low testosterone, or maybe you're dealing with ED, there are options, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, I've told you my story. Like, I was a 34-year-old man with a testosterone level in the 200s. I went through a super stressful life situation where I looked at my son in a hospital bed every single day for 9 months. Like, it completely aged me. But I feel as good now at 42 as I've ever felt in my life. Learn more. yourgoodwood.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
All right, glad you're rolling along with us here. Todd Walker will be here in about an hour and 10 minutes from right now. You can email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways that you can get involved in the show. Kellen Moore has added 2 more staff members. This news breaking here on Wednesday. One an on-field coach, the other a support staff member. Let's start with the on-field coach first. That's Phil Galliano, and he didn't have to look very far. So Phil Galliano has been promoted to special teams coordinator. He had previously been the assistant special teams coach in New Orleans since 2019. So he was Darren Rizzi's assistant special teams coordinator. And then, of course, Darren Rizzi was promoted to interim head coach. And now Darren Rizzi is the special teams coach with the Denver Broncos, having not gotten the New Orleans Saints job. So Galliano promoted from within. And I think it's an interesting paradigm, something we talked about with James Hurst when he was here, about promoting from within or bringing in new guys. And I'm paraphrasing. Maybe we can get that audio from Hurst talking about this. And it was primarily through the lens of a head coach, but I was asking him the difference of promoting from within or bringing in new people. And the way he sort of said it was, when you promote from within, and it was almost more like he was looking at it from the other staff members. Like with Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen was the other staff members' peers, and then he became their boss. And that was a very difficult dynamic as opposed to bringing in an entirely new staff. This is one where Phil Galliano was already an assistant. So he was peers with the other guys on staff. Now he's just promoted to the special teams coordinator from assistant special teams coordinator or assistant special teams coach. Now he's just running that department. Look, the Saints were actually better on special teams a year ago in some components. Blake Grupe made 87% of his field goals. That was 15th, so right in the middle of the NFL last year. Matthew Hayball did not have an awesome year. His average punt was 44 yards, which was 30th in the NFL in punting average. Your return game, when Rashid Shaheed was healthy, was very good. Shaheed was 14th in kickoff returns. He was first in the NFL in punt returns. Then, of course, his season was lost when he had the injury. But you were very good in the return game. Grupe's been consistent. You didn't punt it particularly well. But if this is a guy that has the respect of the locker room, knows some of the talent, is someone that Kellen Moore is comfortable with, cool. I'm good with it. The other thing that's pretty clear here is with Kevin Patullo being hired by Philly as their new offensive coordinator, that opens the door for Doug Nussmeier, that deal to get done. And we heard the news on Tuesday that the Saints were finalizing a contract with Doug Nussmeier to make him the team's offensive coordinator. Of course, nothing's done until it's done. Ink's dry on the contract and all that sort of stuff. But this does, because if Nussmeier were staying in Philly, it would have been a very logical choice for Nick Sirianni to promote Doug Nussmeier internally to offensive coordinator, with Kellen Moore leaving. So Kellen Moore, now the Saints head coach, word being that he's finalizing a deal to bring Nussmeier to New Orleans. Then he promotes Kevin Patullo, who had been the associate head coach in Philly with the Eagles. So, again, I think we knew this was going to happen with Nussmeier becoming the OC. This effectively confirms that is absolutely going to happen. We're just waiting on the announcement now. And then the other coordinator position, the defensive coordinator job, we're still assuming will be Brandon Staley. But the first coordinator job is filled. It's Phil Galliano. He'll be the special teams coordinator. You promoted from within. All signs are pointing to the Doug Nussmeier contract being done and Doug Nussmeier becoming the offensive coordinator. And then we're waiting and assuming that Brandon Staley will be the defensive coordinator. And just a reminder for anybody who hadn't heard me say it yet, with a 36-year-old first-time head coach, I do believe that having experienced staff members and coordinators and head coaches on staff is a great benefit to Kellen Moore, who can probably handle a lot of the specifics of being a head coach that maybe he's not familiar with. So I think the Brandon Staley hire would be awesome if that's where ultimately this lands. And the other thing that we talked about with Hurst, when I asked him, Hurst is 33-year-old, and Kellen Moore's 36, and you got guys on the roster like Derek Carr and DeMario Davis and Cameron Jordan, who are all right there at 35, 36 years old, about the same as Kellen Moore. I think we probably make too big of a deal of the age thing, just as far as how that dynamic would work. I mean, just think about wherever you work. Wherever that is. It is actually more common in our professional lives that we are around the same age of our boss, supervisor, manager, whatever. That's a very common thing. I mean, when you're a young person, and if you're working for the first time, like you're just out of college at 22 and you get your first big boy or big girl job, yeah, your manager is probably going to be older than you. But for all of us, at some point in our lives, when we spend 5, 7, 10 years in our professional careers, we're going to have managers that are around our age, that are our peers, that are also our managers. So I think that part of it is probably overblown. You either can or you can't. And Kellen Moore is getting his first opportunity to show that he can be a head coach. But I do think just the dynamic of the age of the coach relative to the players, I think that part of the conversation is probably a little overstated or overblown. So Phil Galliano, special teams coordinator. The other hire that was announced, I shouldn't say announced, it's been reported. It's not been announced yet by the New Orleans Saints. It's being reported, and it was Tom Pelissero who had it first, was that Kellen Moore is bringing a former Eagles staffer, Ted Rath, with him to New Orleans. Now, Ted Rath was the Eagles' director of sports performance from 2020 to 2023. So the year that Moore just spent in Philly, Rath was already gone. He was not in Philly this year. But interestingly enough, Ted Rath kind of became famous or infamous as the get back guy on when he was with the Rams. There was an NFL Films video where he's the one following around Sean McVay, like pulling him away from the sideline, and he was the get back guy on for the Rams on the sideline, like walking the sideline, telling everybody, get back, get back, get back. Do you have that photo? Pull it up. Yeah, there it is. For those watching, there's the photo. You can go full screen with it, Paulie. Where he's, if you saw the clip, you know what I'm talking about. He's the guy, young, fit guy who was like pulling McVay back and yelling, get back. He's the get back guy on the sideline. But apparently super successful as the director of sports science. He'd also spent time with the Dolphins in addition to the Rams, and in 2023, the Eagles. So now he'll be in New Orleans. And apparently this was a situation where even though Rath was gone from Philly this year, Kellen Moore was there, and apparently enough people on staff had enough good things to say about him that Moore was interested in bringing him to New Orleans. So this is a support staff member. And listen, we have all had these questions about the New Orleans Saints and their injuries. And I think sometimes injuries are bad luck. Paulson Adebo breaking his leg, being leg whipped, is bad luck. Taysom Hill taking a shot on the knee and tearing every ligament in his knee, that's just bad football fortune. It's part of the thing that happens in a violent collision sport. Kendre Miller pulling a hammy the first drill of training camp. Eric McCoy having groin issues. Like those types of things, the soft tissue things, are the ones that feel super preventable. And that's where I feel like I wonder if the training staff, director of sports science, all that sort of stuff, if maybe the Saints aren't in line with where they should be. Sean Payton kind of threw shade at New Orleans a few weeks back in a press conference when we talked about this. And he lauded his staff and Bo Lowry, who Bo had been at LSU, had been at times with New Orleans, and Sean Payton, when he got the job in Denver, hired Bo away from LSU to bring him there in Denver. And they've had the lowest rate of incident of injury the last 2 years in Denver. Well, you got a great staff that knows intimately how to work on preventative maintenance and things like that. So hopefully that's something that Ted Rath will bring to the New Orleans Saints. So a couple more hires for Kellen Moore as he's ticking away, right? Most every other staff has already done all of this work, but the Saints had to wait as Kellen Moore was in the Super Bowl. So you've only had Kellen Moore in place now. He was introduced a week ago. A week ago tomorrow was the introductory press conference. So been right at a week since he was formally hired. So in a week, he's assembling staff and conducting interviews, assembling his staff, and then next they'll turn to the roster and what they're going to do as far as getting this thing within cap compliance so they can go to in a free agency knowing what they have to spend and what maybe they don't have to spend. Okay, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Parrish Construction and Roofing. Hey, 2 days. 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, 2 days. Friday is the day, Friday is the day, Friday is the day. Friday is the day that we are giving away $5,000 cash. I just got sent a video earlier today from around the office. Someone bought Terrio a money gun. Like, seriously, a money gun? That video will be posted soon. So if he comes to your house, maybe he'll shoot the $5,000 in hundreds out of a money gun at you. I don't know what we're going to do, but someone's going to win $5,000. We're announcing the winner Friday. We're drawing for it Friday live on AFR. You could win it. It's this easy. All you got to do is go to parishbuilt.com, sign up for a free no-obligation roofing inspection. Sign up for a roof inspection and follow us on social. That's it. Everyone who does that within the 1 week time period, we started on Friday, it's going to this coming Friday, so 2 days away. Everyone who does, so it's not going to be this massive, enormous list. Like, you're going to have good odds of winning. We'll draw at random on our randomizer app on Friday, and whoever's name comes out, boom, you're winning $5,000. It's that easy. For all the rules and to enter, go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. It's me and Terrio and Tilly and our great staff. Parrish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com. All right, y'all, After Further Review, congrats, man. Matt McMahon and the Tigers made it 2 in a row. We'll recap that game, talk a little bit more about LSU, the baseball game being postponed. They won't play Nichols tonight. Instead, they'll play the game on Monday at the Box, the game being postponed because of weather. So it'll be a 4-game weekend for LSU. Playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and before they head to Dallas to take on, or Arlington, I guess, to take on Dallas Baptist on Wednesday, and then go to Frisco for the Frisco Classic next weekend. All right, a lot to do. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
You know, I was talking actually with Terrio about this not long ago because obviously we're partners in Parrish, but he's also partners with Richard Tilley and some other folks in T3, which is an industrial services business, and they are constantly looking for the right people. And I suggested, hey, call Glow Resources, because the reality is with Glow Resources, they help you find the right people to make your business more efficient. If you need that manager, if you need a construction manager, maybe you need a foreman, maybe you need skilled blue collar labor, Glow Resources can help. They know the places to look, the networks to tap into, and the questions to ask to make sure they find the right people for your job. They're so confident in their ability to find the right people. They got a 96% satisfaction rate. As a matter of fact, in the 15,000 interviews they conduct a year, they've never had a bad review from an interview. They're the best. It's Glow Resources. Check them out. GLO, glowresources.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI, or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
3 near the buzzer. Going to be over the rim. No good by Cam Scott. And the horn will sound. This one's in the books. LSU, indeed. Back-to-back victories in SEC play with an 81-67 convincing win over South Carolina.
Great win for our team. Thought our guys' preparation was really good. I loved their ability to execute the defensive plan of attack in the first half. I thought we were really active, forcing those 18 turnovers. And then offensively, I just thought we played the right way, really unselfish. The floor was spaced, good execution. I thought did a really good job screening. 19 assists, 10 turnovers is obviously a huge step in the right direction for us. As we all know, we've struggled to shoot the 3 on the season. Made 11 on Saturday, now come back tonight and make 13. So proud of our players for staying the course, getting better here.
As heard on the LSU Sports Radio Network, and of course that was Matt McMahon after the Tigers beat South Carolina 81-67. The Gamecocks led 2-0. That would be their biggest lead of the game. LSU led by 14 at half, and they would not relinquish that lead as the teams matched, scoring 40 points each in the second half, and the Tigers win by 14, 81-67. What was interesting, well, there's a couple things. Number one, almost out of necessity here, the Tigers have gone smaller. Corey Chest did return. He played 13 minutes in this ball game, but you saw a lot of 4-guard lineup. Listen, the Jalen Reed injury, Tyrell Ward leaving the program early, that hurt your depth and your size. Trey'Dez Green, we know, is left to focus on football. Corey Chest had an injury that cost him the game against Oklahoma, but was back to play 13 minutes against South Carolina. They've had to go small. And Matt McMahon talked about going small has actually it's actually helped this team.
I do think the 4-guard lineup has really been a positive impact for us. It's spaced the floor better. If you go over the last 5 games, our turnovers are way down. That has to continue for us, and our shot quality has improved.
I don't know if Cam Carter was great again at 17 points for the Tigers. He was 7 of 14 from the floor. I mean, you shoot 50% from the floor, and he was 3 of 7 from 3. It's a bit repetitive, I know, but this offense goes as Cam Carter goes. But also we've seen Mike Williams now see his minutes go up. Played 14 minutes. He was 4 of 5 from the floor, made 3 of 4 threes. He had 13 points. Mike Williams at times last year was sort of instant offense off the bench and was a really good perimeter shooter for you. And you're starting to see that manifest a little here. Again, partly out of necessity, but it's working. Now, it also helps, in fairness, that you played Oklahoma, who's got the same record in conference as you do. They're 3-10. And South Carolina, who's 0-13. They're the worst teams in the league. So the competition has significantly dropped down, but it's also been the way you've played. And Matt McMahon also discussed Mike Williams here in his second year, going to stay in the course and finding a way to make an impact here these past couple games.
Really proud of him. He's had a challenging year, disjointed at times, but I think he's been really good for us here of late. He's practiced at a high level. I think he's really invested time in the gym, and he gave us a huge lift. He was fantastic, especially in the first half. And he scores 13 points tonight on only 5 shot attempts. Thought defensively he's gotten a lot better and has been really active on that end of the floor. So, the 4-guard lineup with him a part of that, the spacing helps him as well. And I thought he was fantastic tonight.
From the start of conference play, there are only 5 games of the 13 where Mike Williams has played double-digit minutes. The win against Arkansas, he played 17 minutes. The game at Alabama, he played 13 minutes. After that, he played 3 minutes against Auburn, 2 minutes against Texas, 13 minutes against Georgia, then 6, and then the last 2 games, of course, with the injury to chest and going smaller, played 19 minutes against Oklahoma and 14 minutes against South Carolina. So he's waited for his opportunity. He's gotten it, and it's no surprise. I mean, Mike Williams, one of the things we talked about a year ago as a freshman was his fearlessness as a shooter. I mean, he's the guy like, the phrase shoot or shoot, that's Mike Williams, y'all. He gets the ball on the perimeter, it's going up. And I'm good with that, man. Like, you got a guy that's confident, has a good stroke, can score from the outside, has proven it. You get him in the ball game, let him go score. And he did that, which was really good to see. I'm happy for LSU. It's kind of what we talked to. I know there's not a whole lot of sense of going deep dive into this team and this roster and what's ahead for this LSU basketball team because, candidly, there just isn't much ahead for this LSU basketball team. This is a team that's 3-10 in the league. They lost 10 of 11, a 6-game losing streak, then a 7-game losing streak. And when you look at what they have ahead, very candidly, they're not winning again the rest of the year. They're playing Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Kentucky, Texas A&M. That's your final 5. Of those 5, the 3 games at home are number 2 Florida, number 6 Tennessee, and number 7 Texas A&M. The 3 home games you have are against number 2, 6, and 7 nationally. And the 2 road games you have are at Mississippi State, at Kentucky. State's ranked 21st, Kentucky's ranked 17th. Like, you're not winning again. You'd have to pull a dramatic upset, and crazy things happen, and maybe they could, but realistically, you're going to be a heavy underdog in every game the rest of the way. You're not winning another game. You're going to play the first day of the SEC tournament. You're probably going to get bounced in the first round. We'll see what the draw looks like, but you're probably getting bounced in the first round. And then your season's over. So you'll have 6 games left, and it's all going to be about what you do in this offseason, which is something we've talked about. Are the plans for the new arena going to be announced? And I've been told that that's coming very soon. Very soon. And then, like we talked about last week, and I know it was reported this week as well, you have an NIL budget this year that's sub $2 million. And next year, you're going to more than double that. That's the commitment that's been made through the collective for NIL with this basketball program for next year. So I know as a fan, at times you get tired of talking about next year. And I'm not sitting here trying to pump sunshine to tell you it's going to be great. But where I am firmly entrenched is in this belief that I don't know if LSU will win big under Matt McMahon. I don't know that. I'm not sitting here telling you that's going to happen. I also can't tell you definitively that they'll never achieve anything under Matt McMahon. Because what is obvious is he has not had a roster yet capable of competing in this league. If the plan is to give him that next year, then judge him on that next year. And then we'll have a very frank conversation about what we think the ceiling is with this coach and this staff. But until that happens, I'll reserve judgment, provided they do what I'm expecting them to do, which is announce plans for a new arena and invest heavily in NIL into this roster. Speaking of, Matt McMahon did talk about the final 5 games of the season.
Yeah, just keep getting better. think it's important that we take advantage of tomorrow. It's our first true day off since a week ago Sunday. So got to really rest up and get ready to go. Come in Thursday morning, ready to get better and start preparing for Florida on Saturday. We've tried to approach this. Every game's just a one-game season. As strong as the league is, I think that's the only pathway. And so I think our guys will take advantage of the day tomorrow, and then I expect them to come in Thursday morning ready to get to work.
All right, we're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gents, thrill her with a gift in the red box. Maybe you're thinking of popping the question. The only place you need to go is Lee Michaels, the place where all of Louisiana has gone to get engaged for 4 decades, where you'll always find beautiful, natural diamonds from the finest diamond mines in the world. Scott goes on these diamond buying trips all over the world. So that way he brings the best selection back to their 9 stores. And because they're buying for 9 stores, they're buying in bulk, they can give you great prices as well. So at Lee Michaels, you get the great selection that you would find at a big box store with the price and the customer service of a boutique jeweler. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, yourgoodwood.com. That's yourgoodwood.com. A lot to do. We are going to talk a bit more about the Saints salary cap and likely cuts as we're seeing more and more info come out about which players are likely to be done in New Orleans. We'll get to that in about 15 minutes from right now. Todd Walker joins us in hour 3. We'll talk some LSU baseball. When we come back, Muse will do Tigers and the Pros. Don't you move. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
Okay, y'all, the freeze is upon us. We know it's getting down below freezing tonight. Tomorrow night, it's going to be below freezing as well. Remember our friends over at Clegg's. If you need those drop cloths to cover your plants or your flowers, they've got them at Clegg's Nursery. You can get by any of the 4 locations: Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. So get by Clegg's. If you're not sure what to do, they have the answer, so they can help. And in the meantime, if you are looking to start planting for the spring, this is the time. These are incredible. These Alexandria magnolias are in, 15 a gallon for $109. Go check them out right now. As we say all the time, make sure you're following Clegg's on Facebook, because when they get inventory in, they always post it on social media. So make sure you're following Clegg's on their Facebook page. It's Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. Be sure to tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. Whole team on wild.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Need service now? Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you same-day appointments for service, and we offer pickup and delivery of your vehicle from New Orleans to Baton Rouge. If you need sales and service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded.
For the review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
You can always email us, tweet us, or text 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Adrian said, hey, Matt, does Cam Carter have any more eligibility after this season to play another season? No. Cam Carter is a senior. Remember, he's from Donaldsonville, but he started his career, played a year at Mississippi State, then played 2 at Kansas State, and then this year at LSU. And he did not play collegiately in the COVID season. He was the year after, so he doesn't have the COVID year as a super senior. So Cam does not have another year of eligibility. So this is it for Cam. And then I got one from Carla, who asked about Saturday for radio. Many of you know that here in Baton Rouge, we're the flagship for the LSU Sports Radio Network with Eagle 98.1. And so Carla was asking, with baseball at 2 and basketball at 5, how do you handle that on radio? Just the rule always is whichever sport was in season first has the priority. So like when football is playing and then basketball starts, if there's a conflict on a Saturday, football's on Eagle, basketball goes to 100.7 the Tigers. So then the same thing with basketball, baseball. So with basketball in season, basketball is on Eagle 98.1, and baseball, when there's a conflict, would go to 100.7 the Tigers. So just to file that away, and listen, we're near the end of the season. There's not going to be many more instances where I haven't looked at the schedule and cross-checked it where that would be an impediment, but just something to keep an eye on. Okay, Muso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
So I missed this yesterday. Saw it after the show, so I'm sure many have seen it. But if you haven't, former LSU and Tennessee Titans quarterback Zach Mettenberger has a new job. He's the head football coach at Father Ryan High School in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, thanks for reading LouisianaSports.net, jerk.
That's actually where I saw it after the show.
Yeah, I wrote that yesterday at like noon.
Well, I mean, you know I do Tigers in the pros. You could have kicked it down the line to me as well.
Are we really counting that?
Yeah, why not? I mean, he's a former, but he's in his professional career still.
Well, I mean, you want me to get you stories of dudes that are becoming chiropractors and insurance salesmen and stuff too?
Look, man, when the NBA's on All-Star break and spring training hasn't started, yeah, I kind of do.
All right.
I mean, it's a tough week right now.
Send me your professional success stories if you're a former Tiger. We'd love to share them with you.
Shouts out. But no, for real, congrats to Zach Mettenberger, man. That's awesome. Obviously, a 6th-round draft pick by the Titans in 2014. Spent 3 years in the NFL, then 1 season with the Memphis Express after a great career, obviously, with the LSU Tigers. Alex Bregman, we know he has a new home.
Hell yeah!
No. We know he has a new home.
Give me something, Muse.
Well, he did. LSU.
Hi-ha!
No.
Well, he should.
Yeah, sure. I'll give you that. He's from New Mexico. Anyway, we know he has a new home. He's going to play with the Boston Red Sox here, sign a 3-year deal, $120 million. His position on the infield still not set, according to Alex Cora. It's been widely assumed that Bregman would play second base. Rafael Devers, the Red Sox current third baseman, was asked if he would give up his position with Alex Bregman now on the field. He quickly responded no. Alex Bregman was just asked about, Rafael Devers saying he won't give up third base, and all Alex said is, I'll play wherever. So we'll see. Again, widely assumed it would be Devers, Story, Bregman, but we'll wait and see. Spring training gets underway here in a couple of weeks. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. If you need tires, well, that stinks because buying tires is not fun. I think we all know that. They're expensive, but you got to have them. So you want to get the best tires at the best price with the best service. Check. It's Shawbills. Since 1968, y'all. Shawbills. Go to ShawbillsTire.com. And ask about the Shawbills credit card. Remember, the Shawbills credit card is effectively a credit card for your vehicle. And you can get 6 months interest-free when you use Shawbills credit card. So you want to buy tires and pay for them interest-free over 6 months, you can do it with the Shawbills credit card, and you'll always get a better deal when you use your Shawbills credit card. So go to ShawbillsTire.com or pop on into any Shawbills location, ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. We are going to talk some updates on the Saints cap situation here in just a second because we are expecting you're going to start to see these dominoes falling pretty rapidly with the Saints trying to get into cap compliance because the league year starts in less than a month and they're going to have to be within cap compliance. So you're going to start to see their annual exercise of restructures and all coming. So we'll get to that here in a bit. One of the things, if you were not here at the start of the show, we talked about, there's a report from NHL.com that there is a group that has inquired about bringing an NHL team to New Orleans. I'm getting a lot of reaction to that. You can get yours in. Sean Ducote on the text line said, Matt, no one cares about minor league hockey, but if NHL team came to New Orleans, I think it'd be different. What do you think? Would you support an NHL team in New Orleans? Play the Cotton Eye Joe, and I'm there, man. The Spotlight, old Kingfish days. Let's do it.
After further review.
Need service now? Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you same-day appointments for service, and we offer pickup and delivery of your vehicle from New Orleans to Baton Rouge. If you need sales and service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NBA's second half of the season starts tonight. One game in Los Angeles, Lakers Hornets. LA's fifth in the West. And to compete against big men in the conference, LeBron James and Luka Doncic will have to do something they've never done before. Anscape senior writer David Dennis Jr.
They need to win small. All respect to Jackson Hayes, all respect to Alex Len. They just do not have interior presence. And that means that Luka is going to need to step up defensively. LeBron is going to need to play bigger. And they may even need to play at a faster pace than Luka or LeBron are used to.
James, dealing with left foot and ankle soreness, is optimistic he'll play tonight. Team USA and Boston Bruins top defenseman Charlie McAvoy remains hospitalized with an infection in his right shoulder, as well as a significant injury to his AC joint. His status for the NHL season, which restarts Saturday, is unclear. The U.S. takes on Canada in the Four Nations Face-Off Championship game tomorrow, 8 Eastern ESPN. Eagles promoted passing game coordinator, associate head coach Kevin Patullo to offensive coordinator. He's Jalen Hurts' fifth different play caller since 2020.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. And now, a Progressive ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who switch to Progressive could save big with Progressive. This has been a Progressive ad from Progressive. See if you could save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You suck. And Mr. Toby Time play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock, quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. And oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Hey.
It's hump day.
I don't know what I was trying to do there.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
I tell you what, I'm fired up.
Hump day.
NHL is coming to NOLA.
It's hump day.
Breaking news.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Heard it here first.
Hump day.
Ownership group looking to bring a team to the Big Easy.
It's hump day.
You put on a show for the Super Bowl.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
You show the world you know how to throw a party. And the world's game wants to come to New Orleans.
It's hump day.
Did you know that?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Did I know what?
Hockey's the world's game.
Not soccer?
It's
Nope.
hump day.
Definitely hockey.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
They play hockey everywhere.
They play soccer everywhere.
They don't fight in soccer.
It's hump day.
Now that's true.
They fake injuries in soccer.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Also true.
Hockey's a real man's sport.
It's hump day.
Soccer sucks.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
What are we calling the New Orleans NHL team?
Oh, that's good. The Crew with a K.
No.
Yeah, it's so good, dude.
No.
It's hump day.
No. We can do so much better.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Remember, I adopted the Seattle Kraken as my NHL team on this show years ago.
I don't remember that.
I did.
It's hump day.
I know it because Drew found that video on YouTube, watches it all the time.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
At one point, I go, "Go Kraken!" And so he repeats that all the time. I don't know why.
It's hump day.
Let me know what we should call the New Orleans NHL.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Email me. Tweet me.
It's hump day.
Text me.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
I think we're calling in an expert in 10 minutes. We're calling in an expert in 10 minutes. That's happening.
It's hump day.
And we're going to get to that. All right, let's get going here. Thanks for being with us. Shout out Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, title sponsor of our Hump Day shows all throughout the year. Now that the New Orleans Saints have their head coach, and he is Kellen Moore hiring his staff, next up is going to be roster cuts. Saints are some $51 million over the salary cap. You all know that number, so they have work to do. And what's interesting is, to me anyway, whenever you start to look at all the NFL insiders, right, all these people who cover the NFL nationally for the big networks that are well-connected, when all of them start saying the same things, it's when you know that's rooted in some reality. Dan Graziano over at ESPN looked at the cap situation for all 32 NFL teams. With the Saints, he writes, feels like the Saints are here every year having to slash and slash just to get under the cap. Projected $50 million over the cap or so. Talks about the restructures. He notes Derek Carr and how they could save $30 million if he's a post-June 1st cut. Then also says, watch Cameron Jordan, beloved Saints, but turns 36 in July. 1 year left on his contract, carrying a cap number of roughly $20 million. You could extend him to save some money, but that probably doesn't make sense. So could you designate him as a post-June 1st cut and save $11 million? That's what they could do there with Cameron Jordan. Then over at NFL.com, this was at NFL.com. Again, the National Football League's website, NFL.com. They post this long list of guys who could be potential cap cuts. Guys like Deebo Samuel from the 49ers. Marshawn Lattimore with Washington. I mean, that's one worth keeping an eye on because the Saints got a third-round pick for Lattimore. And as bad as New Orleans has been in these types of situations, that feels like one, man, that's highway robbery. You sent a player who was injured at the time you traded him to Washington. He was junk for them this year. In respect to Marshawn Lattimore, he didn't do anything wrong in New Orleans. He was a good player for the Saints. He's just clearly on the back nine of his career and maybe closer to the clubhouse than the turn, and might get cut after playing less than half a season in Washington and being abused in the NFC Championship game by A.J. Brown. But they also mentioned Cameron Jordan, so that's another one. So Graziano mentioned Cameron Jordan, the NFL.com website there, looking at players that could be cut, have Cam Jordan on the list. The very next player on the list could be cut, Derek Carr. I mean, you start to see these commonalities that are out there, and Oh, by the way, David Onyemata also on the list as a guy that could be cut, another former Saint right there. And it's also worth noting that they do list Taysom Hill as a player that could very well be cut in this period as well. You look at there are common underlying factors. Aging, expensive players. If you need to get cheaper and younger, you move on from your aging, expensive players. We had James Hurst on with us in hour number 1. Again, a former Saint who came to New Orleans in 2020, which was Drew Brees' last season, when they were still very actively trying to win now with Drew Brees. And I asked him if internally they were aware of the cap situation, how bad it was, if the players internally were aware of all this.
Not much. A lot of the times in the locker room, the cap situation was very personal to each player, because the truth of the matter is we're all competing over the same dollars in that salary cap. So, however, I do know that everyone was aware of it. Everyone was aware that it was keeping us from going out and signing, a big splash free agent signing. They knew that. And for a while there, that was okay, because we felt like we had everyone in the building at those big time important positions to get the job done. But also, I think you've seen that shift a little bit. I think maybe the last 2 years, maybe 3 years, you've seen us missing players at those hallmark positions that are real game changers.
And it's been 4 years since you made the playoffs. And Hurst also, and I would highly recommend you go check out this entire interview. He was fantastic today. But, he said in no uncertain terms, and I love when you can get guys who are recently finished playing, who still have an intimate awareness of the current roster, the coaching staff, the front office, not just the team they play for, but the rest of the league as well, because they're so closely removed from it. And then they'll give you candor. And that's what Hurst did today when I asked him about, is it time to hit the full reset button?
I think it's time. With the lack of success in a weak division in the past 3 seasons, with a quarterback who's on a really limiting contract for the team, we've tried the restructuring, right? We've done it, but I think it's time. You've got a new head coach who would love to establish himself and make a name for himself as a successful head coach. As an offensive guy, I'm sure he wants a new quarterback. The quarterback is the hinge position right now for the Saints. There's a lot going on. They have great draft capital this year, and I think we need to utilize that and understand that this is not an easy situation for any head coach. Prime Bill Belichick could walk into the building and not necessarily have a ton of success just because of the current situation of the team and the cap structure.
You got a guy right there, and James Hurst telling you point blank, it's time. Like, you got a young coach, commit to him, hit the reset button, and move on. It's tough to do for your veteran players when you have a limited window to win, and you've got only so many, not just in the Saints era, because your career is only so long. And not everybody's going to be super blessed to be drafted by the Chiefs or the Eagles in this situation where you're going to a really good team that's going to compete and win. The Saints are nowhere close to that right now. And the more they carry on with this charade of pretending like they're a contender, the further removed you get from actually being one. All right, it's after further review. Hey, Supper Club's open right now, y'all. Doors are open. If you don't have a reservation tonight, that's okay. Remember, you can always open seating at the bar. So any night of the week that they're open, they're closed Sunday, Monday. So Tuesday through Saturday, you can always walk in, grab a bar stool, wait for one to come open, have a cocktail, glass of wine, have dinner sitting right there at the bar. Maybe wait for a bar table to come open, or maybe get lucky. Maybe have a cancellation on the reservation. You could get in and grab a table and have a great dinner tonight. Maybe you got clients in town, maybe you got family in town, maybe you got an anniversary coming up or a birthday, whatever you're celebrating, or for whatever reason you need to go have a dining experience, you got to go to Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com. If you've never been, why not? If you've been but it's been a while, go back. If you're a regular, you already know what I'm talking about. You're probably on your way right now. It's Supper Club. Nothing like it. SupperClubBTR.com. SupperClubBTR.com for your reservations. All right, y'all. Todd Walker in 17 minutes from right now. So I'm serious. Give me some feedback here, because right as we're coming on air, I saw this story that apparently, and this was a report from forgive me, I got to find the gentleman's name again. I don't know a ton of NHL reporters. Sorry. His name is Kevin Weeks. Kevin Weeks works for NHL.com. NHL for ESPN, NHL Network, TSN, NHL.com. He's an NHL ambassador. Kevin Weeks. Okay, so Kevin Weeks puts on Twitter earlier today in speaking to so he names NHL Deputy Commissioner Bill Daley by name. In speaking to Deputy Commissioner Bill Daley and other sources involved, I can confirm that there was a recent meeting in New York City with a group expressing their interest in bringing an NHL expansion team to New Orleans. All right. Do we want to see an NHL team in New Orleans? Let me know your thoughts. I'm calling in an expert next on AFR.
AFR.
Tell you what, if you are going to go watch the NHL in New Orleans, you're coming in. Stay at the Watermark or the Renaissance. Quick jaunt down to the Crescent City. Or you want to watch hockey in downtown Baton Rouge. You could always stay at either the Renaissance or the Watermark downtown, walking distance from the River Center. When the Zydeco are playing. How about that? Shout out. Go Zydeco. Watermark downtown, the Renaissance on Bluebonnet. Renaissance Baton Rouge on Bluebonnet, right across from the Mall of Louisiana and Perkins Row. Gorgeous, truly unique hotel. And when people say unique, a lot of times they misuse that term. Unique means only one. And remember, every single Renaissance hotel is unique to that market. So all of the decor, the layout, so much is unique to Baton Rouge. Like you look at the sculpture behind the front desk, it's a 2-scale sculpture of the Mississippi River and all of its tributaries. Discover Renaissance Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Yeah! I'm going to tell you what, Muse. Nothing. And I mean nothing. Screams hockey in Louisiana like the Cotton Eye Joe. Crank it up, Muse! Tell you a story, Muse.
All right.
Story of a 14, maybe 15-year-old Matty Moe, circa 1995, maybe 1996, living his best life, spending weeknights at the Riverside Centralplex. That's what we used to call it, by the way. OGs know. As the Baton Rouge Kingfish were skating their hearts out, fighting every night, playing bad hockey, trying to claim the Atchafalaya Cup. Put a stranglehold on the Lafayette Ice Skaters and the New Orleans Brass, who played in some theater. Don't remember what it was called. That's hockey in Louisiana, Muse. Word is they're bringing it back. Kevin Weeks covers the NHL for a lot of different legit outlets. Cites a conversation with Deputy Commissioner Bill Daley, confirming a meeting in New York with a group expressing their interest in bringing the NHL to New Orleans with an expansion team. So the only person I know to call, a true Louisiana hockey expert, the former radio voice of your Baton Rouge Kingfish. Let's hear it for Josh Dickinson. Crank it up, yes! Crank it out! Yeah! Here we go.
All right.
Here we go.
To be fair.
Yeah?
I was never the full-on voice of the Kingfish. Our friend Damon Sunday was the voice of the Kingfish.
Okay.
And he was preceded by a real great broadcaster. And I'm not saying this to be sarcastic. It's a guy I listen to a lot. His name was Chris Kenyon. See, I know that you're making a mockery of hockey, and that's fine. Go talk about college baseball.
So good.
And yeah, that's good. But I'll tell you, as a kid, I don't know that I ever loved a team more than I loved the Baton Rouge Kingfish. And, oh, by the way, the New Orleans Brass eventually played in the New Orleans Arena, which is truly baffling. They put like 11 people in those games. But they played in the New Orleans Arena back when it was called the New Orleans Arena.
If nothing else, by the way, crank it up, yes! If nothing else, have I not established this man as a Baton Rouge / Louisiana hockey savant?
I am. I'll tell you that.
I don't know. I literally don't know if there's anybody else that I could call that would have a better sense of this topic than you. Well, literally, there was nobody I know that would know more about this. Okay, so we bring in the NHL to NOLA?
God, no, that's stupid. No, we're not bringing the NHL. Like, no. By the way, Tillman Fertitta wants to bring hockey to Houston. Where are they going to go? Houston, or are they going to go to New Orleans?
Hey, Tillman Fertitta's trying to buy the Saints and the Pelicans. So why can't he bring a team here? Maybe he's part of the group.
Now, you know what? If that's the case, I didn't know that. If you would have prepped me beforehand, I wouldn't sound so stupid.
You don't sound stupid. I don't expect you to know that about Tillman Fertitta. You don't live here, but Tillman Fertitta did an interview, and he publicly said that he has made it known to Mrs. Benson that he wants to buy the Saints and the Pelicans, but she ain't selling. So wouldn't it make sense? Wouldn't it make sense if he bought an NHL team and moved it here so he was already in the market, ready to strike whenever Mrs. Benson kicks the bucket?
No,
respectfully.
Because that team's eventually going to move to Hartford or somewhere else.
Oh, you bite your tongue.
Like the Atlanta. The Atlanta had 2 NHL teams. They both. But listen, I'm not trying to be negative because I want to talk highly on the Kingfish because look, the 1,300 people that went to all those games that last season, We had a really good time, and we chucked our pucks, and we danced for our dinner.
Hey, man.
We watched the captain, Cam Brown. He was the coach
Cam
last
Brown.
year. Was the captain, Cam Brown.
Cam
Number
Brown.
44.
Number 44.
And then he eventually went on to play for the Gwinnett Gladiators. He was like the Crash Davis of crappy minor league hockey.
So, by the way,
I'm sure
Cam
he
Brown.
set some sort of record or something.
I used to listen to Cam Brown on a weekly radio hit with Richard Condon on whatever station Condon was on way back then. I mean, he would have Cam Brown on with him like Wednesday mornings at 7:20. Driving to
Well, you know what's awesome? You know what's great about that, Matt, is that your boy Richard dumps on your boy Hunt for talking LSU baseball, and he talked to a minor league hockey guy on a morning show.
I mean, that's a great point, Josh. I mean, nobody knows how to hammer home what their audience wants, like Big C talking to Cam Brown on a Wednesday morning at 7:15.
It's 7:20. We got Cam Brown on.
Here we go.
You know,
crank it up, Scott. Crank it up. Oh, man, there's so many people
Did you ever
lost right
chuck
now.
your pucks? Did you get the little orange rubber pucks and throw them into the middle of the ice to win a prize?
I don't. You know what I remember mostly? Not so much chuck a puck. I certainly remember having the cheap seats up at the top because I was in high school and you get a ticket for like $3, right, or whatever it was. And so you'd go to the top of the Riverside Centralplex. And boy, they'd have that spotlight whenever they're playing the Cotton Eye Joe. Crank it up, yos! And then I would go, I'd be doing the Cotton Eye Joe, just trying to get the spotlight guy's attention to get on the spotlight. And then whenever they put it on us, we'd all like put our hands on the wall. We'd catch the wall, Josh. We'd catch the wall and we'd shake it like it's hot. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Did you ever dance for your dinner?
Of course.
You want a Domino's pizza, a little Domino's pizza if you danced for your dinner. And I did. I wore costumes. I would put on seasonal costumes.
Wait, hold on.
I had every shoot-around jersey. I had, like, the Mardi Gras jersey.
Oh.
I had all of them. I had, like, St. Patrick's Day jerseys. I had their warm-up jerseys. At Christmas, I'd dress up like Santa.
Hey,
I loved it.
Do you have those still?
They may be at my dad's house, or he might have gotten rid of them. But I had them all. Like, I had
right.
My dad would somehow get them. I mean, it's not like they were hard to get. It's minor league hockey
That's
jerseys.
true.
But they would, I
We
love
need to call Scott because I would love to rock one of those, in particular if you got the Mardi Gras one, like a true vintage Baton Rouge Kingfish Mardi Gras alt jersey. I would love to wear that, the sweater here on AFR. I'd be honored.
Sweater.
I'd be honored.
Good hockey lingo, strong hockey lingo.
See, I'm a hockey guy.
I like that.
I couldn't tell
clearly,
you.
and all that.
I couldn't tell you what icing is. I don't know what's that. Michael's line. Most Americans don't know the blue line from a goal. What did he say? What's the line in Miracle on Ice?
I believe the line is something like, most people here don't know the difference between a blue line and a clothesline.
Clothesline.
It's irrelevant.
Yeah, it's irrelevant. That's it. That's me. I don't know the
rules. By the way, tomorrow night, another Miracle on Ice is we're going to beat Canada and we're going to play Freebird.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, Josh. I feel like we're being set up. No, I get it. But it's like you shot your shot and you beat them, and now they're getting this. You know what this is? This is LSU Bama 2011.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. You went there.
Guess what?
You went into their house. You went into their house. You went into their house. You beat them dramatically. They didn't deserve the damn rematch. They got it, and you knew you'd already taken care of business, and you were defeated when you walked in. And I think tomorrow, when the U.S. walks on the ice, they're already defeated.
This is different. This is not like the Kingfish playing the Ice Gators, where you knew we'd lose every time. This is America taking on Canada, and we're playing Freebird tomorrow. We're playing Freebird in Boston tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening, Josh. I think, and look,
I'm betting on it.
It's even,
I'm betting on
Josh, it's even apropos, my example, because in that 2011, January of 2012, January 9th, that game was in New Orleans. You had the ultimate home court or home field advantage. That game in Boston, I mean, the Boston Tea Party, our nation's original capital, right there, the epicenter of freedom of our nation. And that's where Canada is coming in tomorrow to whip our ass.
I disagree. That's okay.
I don't know anything about hockey.
We can differ, but
we
can differ on this.
I couldn't name a single play. Well, okay, I heard that Kachuk got in a fight.
Yeah,
and I know
he's from St. Louis, where I live. It's a big deal to
awesome.
people here.
And I know, great,
matters.
wonderful. And I know Sidney Crosby. Is he playing?
Matt, I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't know.
Okay.
But I know Americans could have. I don't. Crosby, he's American, right?
No. He's Canadian.
He's Canadian.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Yeah.
what I meant. Canadian. I couldn't tell you. I don't pay
you
that
can
much
kill the
attention
Cotton Eye
to it.
Joe. Now,
I'm here for patriotism. I wasn't even watching this stupid Four Nations thing until they started booing America.
I'm with you.
And then you know what I said? You want to boo the national anthem. Now you've kicked the hornet's nest because we're going to put a boot in your ass or a skate in your ass.
You know what I didn't
like? Because it's the American way.
Why didn't we then, in the NBA All-Star game, boo "Oh Canada"? Or play like Terrence and Phil, play Blame Canada. Like, spoof them instead of playing "Oh Canada," play Blame Canada.
Well, they're NBA players. They boo America anyway.
Let's
they
not go
wouldn't
there.
care. They're like, we're going to join it. No, I'm just saying. You asked why.
I don't know. NBA players aren't
it's
out there booing anybody. I'm talking about the fans. I'm talking about the fans. Why the fans? I'm like, return the favor. They booed your anthem. You boo their anthem.
I understand that, but the thing is, there's more of an apathetic crowd when it comes to basketball. The hockey people are patriots, and by that I mean they're just like angry white people. So they're very patriotic, and they're like, screw you, Canada. Do you think the hipsters in an NBA All-Star game are like, yeah, let's boo Canada? Hell, the people at that game are probably rooting for Canada tomorrow if they knew what hockey was.
So what do we call
But anyway,
I gotta go, but what do we call in the New Orleans NHL team when they come?
The unhoused.
What? Yeah, get on.
But
I'm so sad.
They're unhoused. They're only when Taylor Swift comes to town, then we give them a house. Then they come back. Then we house them again. We unhouse them when Taylor Swift is out of town.
No, the Super Bowl was here, and they were housed for the Super Bowl.
They were housed for the Super. Oh no, they housed them for Taylor Swift too. They got them the hell out of there.
I know. I was there,
and
and
you
that's
know because you were singing 22 and all that.
I do love 22. That's a good jam. I'm telling, no shame. I like Taylor Swift. I don't like all of her songs, but there's enough of her songs that I like, and I think she is a great philanthropist and does a lot of good things. I think she gets a lot of unnecessary hate. But
up until 1989, I sat second row for a Taylor Swift concert once by choice. And Taylor Swift was great until after 1989. Everything was about sweaters and weird stuff. But in 1989, everything before that, Red is a top 5 album of mine all time. So I get it. Now she's just annoying. And she's associated with the Kelseys, who are also annoying. So what are you going to do?
Why do you hate everything?
I don't.
You
told
everything.
me to talk about hockey. You're disparaging the Kingfish, who were a great
I am not
asset
disparaging
to
the
city.
Kingfish. I just told you I would wear the friggin' sweater if you gave
have
it
a
to me.
tone. There's
I
a
have
tone.
great.
All I'm going to say there's a tone. There's a tone.
No. I have very fond memories of going to watch the Kingfish as a young person in this town. I would watch the Kingfish. Again, I watched the Kingfish against the Brass. My aunt took me and my siblings to New Orleans to watch a Kingfish Brass game in New Orleans. I'm not disparaging that at all. I brought you on to reminisce and to share very wonderful stories about the Kingfish and about the ECHL back in the 90s. And I was serious about that. It was a fun way to bridge this topic about the NHL. I am not disparaging the Kingfish. Now, I've never been to a Zydeco game yet. I haven't been there yet. Because honestly, I hate that they're not the Kingfish. If they called them the Kingfish, I probably would go, but they can't because the guy who owns the Kingfish name won't give it to him because he's a jerk.
That's absurd.
I'm serious.
Who owns the Kingfish name?
I don't know, but he won't give him the name. They tried. That was the thing.
What a dumb thing.
I know.
The dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I know. Like, think of all the money you'd make on merch.
It's kind of like how the Titans don't want to give the Oilers name to Houston, and it's like really petty. But that's like the NFL, and there's millions of dollars involved. This is AA level, actually rookie weird level hockey, and this guy won't let them use the name. That's preposterous.
I have to go. I was supposed to call Todd Walker 2 minutes ago, and I still have to break and then call Todd Walker. So I'm
ask
so
him
late.
Ask him about the Kingfish.
I'll do it. Thank you, Josh.
Ask him if he knows who.
Hang
John
up on him. Hang up on him. We got to go. It's AFR.
AFR.
He's probably still talking. Like he probably doesn't even realize we've hung up on him. All right, we're brought to you by Duplessis Builders, duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net. Go to the website, hit the tab at the top of the homepage that says Our Book. If for no other reason, because you're probably curious at this point what that is. Duplessisbuilders.net. Go to the website. Do this. I'm serious. Even if you're not looking to build a pool. Duplessisbuilders.net. Hit the Our Book at the top of the page. Derek literally wrote a book that he gives away for free on their website that explains to you what you need to know about the pool building process. They never want it to be something where you feel uncomfortable or in the dark or unaware of what they're doing throughout the process. And as I've told you over and over again for many months now, there's a reason that Duplessis offers a 10-year workmanship warranty when the industry standard is 1 year, because they take the time to do it right. DuplessisBuilders.net.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
All right, Todd Walker joins us. Todd, sorry we're late. We went on a way weird tangent with this report that there's a group apparently trying to buy an NHL team, an expansion team, and bring them to New Orleans. How are you, man? It's been a minute. How are you?
I'm great, man. How would hockey roll over in New Orleans, man? Are you a hockey fan?
I don't know anything about hockey. Like could, Todd, if someone came into this studio right now, put a gun to my head and said name 5 current NHL players, or it's lights out, it's game over, I'm dead. I couldn't name 5. And could you name 5 active NHL players?
I can't even name 5 active NHL teams.
Right? I could probably get like the original 6.
It's how we grew up in the South, man. We know baseball and football and soccer and all that, but I'm watching volleyball with my daughter too, and they'll give the other team a point. I have no idea what just happened.
I know. Wait, you never played volleyball in PE? Like, I know how volleyball scoring works.
Oh man, I mean, you hit the ball over the net. I know that much. Nothing more than that.
All right. Hey, speaking of scoring, LSU did a lot of that this weekend. How about that transition? It was good, right? Professional radio guy.
Yeah, very nice, very nice.
Hey, are you for whatever you got to watch of LSU this weekend? The pitching is what's all the conversation down here. How impressed should we be with how dominant they've been, especially considering the competition through 4 games?
Just like the offense, man, I don't get overly excited about the numbers. other than what I was impressed with the pitching staff is the amount of walks they gave up in the 4 games. They were pretty accurate. What, they give up like 1 walk?
2.
Maybe 2. Couple hit by pitches. That's it. In 4 games, no matter what your competition is, hitting the strike zone is a big deal, and they've had issues with that in the past. Over 4 games now, obviously, Nate Yeske has that under control. So that's what I loved. But I tell you what, we could take that pitching staff, and if the LSU basketball team doesn't pick it up, we could just transport, Chase Shores at 6'8", and Maverick Rizzi at 6'9", and just make a basketball team of that pitching staff.
What's it like as a hitter standing in the box against a guy that's 6'8", 6'9", throwing 95+?
But yeah, well, that usually didn't go hand in hand. You were either tall and didn't throw very hard, or you were short and, threw bullets. For me, when it's a 10-inch mound, and then you got a Maverick Rizzi at 6'9" standing up there, it makes you jumpy as a hitter because it looks like they're right in front of your face. And if they didn't throw hard, you still were way out in front, But if they do, clearly the trajectory of the fastball and the curveball has more break if they're over the top. And just there's a lot of advantages to being that tall. But the main thing for me, just looking out there, like Randy Johnson when I would face him, not to mention he was pretty ugly. It was very difficult to focus.
Right, Terrio said the same thing. It's like it was so distracting because he was so ugly. I'm like, why are you being mean to that man? Like, he hadn't pitched in a decade. Why are we being mean to Randy Johnson?
I'm going to be mean because he's not going to listen to this.
That's fair enough. Very, very wise as well. Although Randy's probably like 60 now. I bet you could take him. You probably could have taken him when y'all were playing.
I could probably hit him now too. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Todd Walker is our guest. So was there? It sounds like you got to watch a good bit of the weekend. Was there an arm maybe that you saw for the first time that you were impressed with?
I liked Cade out of the gates. I mean, that's a tough spot to hold down, even though it's not the SEC weekends yet. Being the starter on opening night as a sophomore. Now, he had some experience last year. He was fastball heavy last year, which is good because you're going to be able to attack the zone. I was impressed with Cade, but the entire rotation was pretty good. And, as you know, that third starter is going to be huge, whoever it might be. Of course, they used Chase this time and, Connor Ware, in that midweek against Southern, but they're going to have to find a third. We know they're going to be able to pitch it on Friday night and Saturday, but it's finding that Sunday guy that they didn't have last year that's going to make all the difference.
You mentioned for the pitchers, what impressed you was the walk because the low walk total because you're throwing strikes. What about for the hitters? What is something that, despite all the gaudy numbers, if you sift through, you go, okay, that's something that's translatable?
Derek Curiel, I'm always impressed with a freshman that walks in there and can do some damage, he was the number 1 perfect game freshman impact of 2025, so it's not an over surprise, I don't think, for anybody that he can play. But you never know until the lights come on and you're at LSU and, you're playing against somebody else and what a difference he makes. Dude got 7 hits over the weekend, and again, he's only a freshman. Ethan Fry had 4 hits, 4 for 8. He only had 63 plate appearances last year. They seem like they're trying to mix him in. What shocked me is Stephen Milan's hitting 8-hole. And the only thing I can come up with without being there, because usually, it's not a big shock if you put a good hitter in the 9 spot because all that is a second leadoff guy. So you go 9-1-2, you got a chance in that inning. But 8-9-1 is a little different. So I don't know what the thinking with putting Stephen Milan there because we know he's going to hit and he's a big game player, hitter. Other than I just know by experience that 8 spot comes up with 2 outs almost all the time. It's unbelievable how that works. And so to have a clutch hitter in the 8 spot with 2 outs, is usually a big deal. And I'm not overly, worried about Stephen Milan. He's going to be able to swing it. Didn't have a great weekend, but he's going to be good. And, of course, he's learning a new position on the left side. So, but those are the things that kind of stuck out to me. Jared Jones is going to hit 20, 25 home runs, and this Daniel Dickinson guy can really swing it and go. So they've got an offense. We knew that because, just like I said, with Daniel Curiel being the number 1 perfect game, you got the catcher, Aaron Beatty,
yeah.
The Gatorade Player of the Year from last year of the state of Texas. They got freshmen and young kids that can really play. And Jay's mixing them all in. They used 15 pitchers this weekend, in the 4 games out of the 21 they got on the staff. So he's mixing everybody in, which is good.
I was going to ask you about Danny Dickinson as well, your spot there at second base. It looked impressive, Todd, but what are you facing? I mean, is it one of those where you want to wait and see how it looks against SEC arms?
Yeah, you don't know until you don't know if it translates or not till you start, facing what you just mentioned, 96, 97, 98 on the weekends with some good secondary pitches, and so these guys don't have it, obviously. Purdue of Fort Wayne is not going to have it. Southern's not going to have it. So you don't really know, but it is nice to get off to a good start like Dickinson and a few others did, and you get as many hits as you can right now. Baseball's not easy. We know it's a failure sport no matter who you're facing, and hitting is difficult no matter who's up there. I think I've told you before, my son always equates good pitchers with velocity, and that's not the case. Greg Maddox is a perfect example of that, but hitting's tough no matter who you're playing. So getting off to a good start will help when you go Friday night. Now, the other thing that helps, of course, they got Missouri the first weekend at home.
Yep.
But there's still going to be an uptick from the teams they're going to play. The 19 games they play before the SEC conference starts, all these SEC teams are going to be 17-2, 18-1. Florida's a little different because they play all those tough schools in Florida, so there's record. But all of these guys are going to have gaudy numbers and gaudy records going into the SEC weekends, middle of March. So I don't know the translation, but they've got some guys that can really swing it. Daniel Dickinson's got a quick swing, powerful swing, uses the entire field, doesn't strike out much. Just raked at Utah Valley the last 2 years. And, oh, by the way, stole 32 bases last year too. So he's going to be right in the middle of that lineup that can help.
The game tonight got postponed because the wind chill is going to be in the 20s. Would you want to play?
Dude, I got popped in Wrigley Field in Chicago. We always played in those type of temperatures by Sean Estes, right in the right elbow, lefty on lefty. He hit me right in the arm in that 20-degree weather, and it's a whole different type of hurt than it's if it's 60, 70, 80. And that's another thing. The hitters catch up to the pitchers as it gets warmer. But right now, if you can just survive, man, it's cold, dense air, it's tough to hit. And I had a tough time in Chicago. That's, when it was so cold in April and May. But if you can survive this month as a college baseball player, then you're off and running. And it's no fun playing in cold weather. I always thought, of course, I wasn't a pitcher. I always thought it was less difficult for a pitcher to go through the month of February and March than it was a hitter.
Was that opening day at Wrigley in maybe 02 or 03 against Pittsburgh, and it snowed. That was that was different. That was a different
experience. And we had some of that in Colorado too, where
it was
snow. I mean, baseball's not meant to be played in the cold weather.
Nope. A cold beer and a warm dog and the sights and the sounds and the smell. That's baseball. That's on its way. T-Dub, we appreciate the time as always, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man, anytime.
All right, that's Todd Walker. It's AFR. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. I tell you all the time about the cars, the great German engineering, the IIHS top safety picks, manufactured right here in the U.S. of A., so you get the German engineering and you're supporting American jobs. Always great costs. I probably don't talk enough about the people. Kelly, Mr. Bobby, Mr. Bob, the whole staff over there. Brad, they've been so good to me over the years, man. Kerry, who's the certified pre-owned manager. They become like family, man. I mean, honestly, we bought so many vehicles from South Point over the years. Not just me and Erica, but my whole family. We're believers in the brand and the people there at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Okay, y'all, final break of the show. Let's knock it out. Get caught up on, we'll get caught up on Otterlocks when we come back to wrap up the show. Jimmy will be here. Otterlocks are posted at LouisianaSports.net already. If you want to get them there, do it. It's AFR.
AFR.
Well, 35. Oh, boy, it has dropped today. It's 35 degrees right now. Oh, my God. Temps, wind chill is going to be in the 20s. Heater's going to be cranked up. Just when you think you're about to start reminding people about the preseason AC tune-up. Nope. Here comes old Jack Frost again. Well, if you've got an issue with your heater, call River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001. You can't mistake them, y'all. 1 Hour Air, big yellow vans and trucks. I mean, like bananas rolling down the street. Giant clock on the side. You can't miss it. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. You trust them. I trust them. They're the best. Expertly trained technician. They invest in their people so they get the best people. They invest in continuing education for all their people so they're up to date with the latest technologies. It's just an incredible experience with River City's 1-hour air. 752-0001, whether always on time or you don't pay a dime.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. Whole team on wildin'.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, yourgoodwood.com. Lowest prices, never any contracts. They'll schedule that consultation, yourgoodwood.com. All right, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance. Now's the time to get that AC unit checked before it really gets hot. Normally $179, just $79 when you mention Otter Locks. Total Maintenance, 480-1000.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Doing good, Matt. Doing good. Let's get right to it. Got a busy Wednesday. These are the 3 picks that we released earlier on the website, and we got some line changes, Matt. SMU, when I gave it to Hunt, they were minus 1.5. They're plus 1.5 now. Okay. So we love that. At South Bend, lost a tough one at home, knocked them to the good side of the bubble, to the bad side of the bubble when they lost at home Saturday to Wake Forest. Look for them to bounce back. Not kind of puzzled by some of the public comments from head coach Shrewsbury of the Irish. I like SMU, the better team, take care of business on the road. Now plus 1.5. The next 2 picks that we put out on the website are kind of a reflection of the big one in Alabama this past weekend. Number 1 versus 2, first time ever in the SEC, and it's not just the winner I think is going to be suffering from a little bit of a hangover effect. I think there's just a lot invested in that game. You know, they could play checkers and get at each other's throats, much less 1 versus 2. So the first thing would take in Missouri, -1.5 at home against Alabama. Alabama has been very good on the road. They're undefeated in conference play, but Missouri, that was impressive again on Saturday, which could have been a really tough game at Georgia, a game that Georgia really needed. They just win going away by double digits. I like Missouri at home against Alabama. And then Auburn. Auburn also out without key player Chad Baker-Mazara. He is out. It went from 17.5 to 15.5 after they announced him. But what do you think, Arkansas, the improved Arkansas, since they lost Bland, they've become a better team.
Yeah.
And a respectable loss by 8 on Saturday in College Station. Look for Arkansas to hang around a little bit and come under that number of 15.5. We're going to add one in more injuries in the SEC. Lamont Butler, who is the top assist guy, the starting point guard for Kentucky, but also their best defender, on-ball defender. Played 4 years at San Diego State before he went to Lexington. They're committed to the defensive side of the floor. He and guard Jackson Robinson are out. They finished the game Saturday where they blew the lead late against Texas and Austin without any point guard on the roster. Vandy plus 5.5. They've already beaten them in Nashville. I think this could be really, really close. Moneyline alert with Vanderbilt plus 5.5.
Okay. So 4 plays: SMU, Missouri, Arkansas, and Vanderbilt. Anything else we're looking at, or those 4?
Those 4.
All right. Where are you tomorrow?
Remaining.
We are at Sammy's Grill. It's crawfish season, so
Let's
we'll be
go,
on Sammy's Grill on Highland Road.
Let's go. Sammy's on Highland. Y'all get on by, get some crawfish, and see the fellas tomorrow. All right, Otto, we appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, good luck.
Thanks, man. Same to you. It's After Further Review, brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, door, siding. Oh, yeah. They do shutters as well. With Relief Windows and Brandon Holly, you're always going to get the best products and the best customer service because Brandon demands it of everybody in their business. It's a different level of customer service when you talk about Relief Windows and a true lifetime transferable warranty. Install Windows once and you're done forever when it's Relief Windows. Windows, door, siding, Relief Windows, ReliefWindows.com. All right, y'all, that'll do it for us. If you miss anything, catch AFR On Demand. Thanks to James Hurst, Josh Hinnis, Todd Walker. A good day today. Muse Pauly, thanks. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, I'll remind you about First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Again, firstsouthland.com. Start there, set up that consultation, find the branch nearest you where you can go talk to a loan officer at First South Farm Credit that can help you toward whatever goal it is you have. 1,000 acres for agriculture, 100 acres for that hunting property, that recreational property. Maybe now that we've got to the new year and we're coming around tax season, you're thinking, how in the world in 2025 can I get a little tax relief? Well, buying a piece of timber property as an investment property could lend you some tax benefits. Talk to your CPA to see if that's a possibility for you. It's First South Farm Credit. Start there. firstsouthland.com. Make sure your first call is to First South Farm Credit. firstsouthland.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.